2019, a mass shooting happened at this Cielo Vista Walmart. You can see this is a live look right now at the scene, I-10 at Westmoreland camera, but that is the gateway area just in front of the Cielo Vista Mall. You can see just how extensive the police response, the law enforcement response is in that area right now. Lots of flashing lights, and this is just one portion of it. Of course, those of you familiar, almost I would imagine most people at this point very familiar with the Cielo Vista Mall area, especially after August 3rd, 2019, and familiar with just how expansive that footprint is in that area and how there are entrances to that mall area at multiple areas, not just along I-10 and the gateway, but also all around the mall area. But you can see it is a massive police response. I'm sure sending a lot of flashbacks for many people. The latest information that we just got from police, in addition to what Stephanie just said, police just sending us an alert saying that the scene is still active. They are now having a staging area as well at the 1300 Hawkins, a public library. There is a safe route Montana to Hawkins is what police are saying. So we are looking to get an update from police as soon as they're able to provide one. But the limited information that they've given us at this point is that a shooting has happened in the food court at the Cielo Vista Mall. They did not say anything about the extent of that or any confirmation of any victims or exactly what happened. Again, this just coming down within the last 30 minutes or so. We brought it to you initially as breaking news just at the tail end of ABC 7 at 5, but we are coming on live here a little bit early ahead of ABC 7 at 6 to bring you the very latest as information starts to trickle in. I think it's important to remind everyone, please do not spread rumors at this time. There is a lot going around on social media, much like it did 3.5 years ago on August 3rd, 2019. It is our responsibility, we will continue to do so, to report what is accurate, what is confirmed, and what is fact. We will not report rumors at this point, so please do not spread rumors and panic at this point. We do not know the extent of what has happened at this moment.
Of course, we're already seeing videos from the scene, but again, like you said, Eric, these are unconfirmed reports of what is taking place. All we know is that there is a shooting that happened in the food court at Cielo Vista Mall. As you can see on our camera there, a very heavy police presence. We understand that law enforcement agencies from all different backgrounds are responding to the scene, also getting word that they're coming from different parts of town. So if you do see a rush of law enforcement with lights and sirens on I-10 coming from different directions, likely headed to Cielo Vista Mall. As you can see, it is starting to affect traffic. We're taking the I-10 Westmoreland camera, which is giving us a view of the gateway in front of Cielo Vista Mall. And again, we are seeing different things, hearing different things on social media. But of course, we are working to confirm information with El Paso Police. And we do have a crew on the way to the scene. We are going to get more information from El Paso Police about exactly what is happening at this time. And we are also working to get information from sources. But of course, we will not report rumors at this time. We are working to get facts to you. But again, we can tell you that there has been a shooting happening at Cielo Vista Mall. Don't know exactly what caused it, don't know who is responsible, but we do know police are still looking for the shooter at this time. And we will continue to monitor the situation as it develops and bring you confirmed information once we get it.
El Paso Police tweeting within the last 6 minutes, mall scene is still active. Please avoid the area. And as was the case certainly on August 3rd, multiple agencies responding to the area. Of course, those familiar with the El Paso area, it is not just El Paso Police, El Paso County Sheriff's Office. You have several government agencies, of course, being on the border as well. So there's a massive response 3.5 years ago from Border Patrol, BORTAC, CBP, FBI, DEA. They did not specify in this case which agencies were responding to the area, but this picture, this live picture you're seeing here gives you a sense of just how extensive, of course, state police as well, DPS, I should say. You can see just how extensive the response is, and in the background there, as the traffic continues to move towards us in this picture, you see more and more lights, and just in the bottom right-hand corner is one of the off-ramps from I-10 as well. I've seen several law enforcement vehicles, both marked and unmarked, come off of the interstate in that area as well. Hey guys, if we can pull up the traffic flow map right now, that will also give us, it won't be a live picture per se, but it'll give us a sense of the area and just how backed up and slow, how much of a slow go the area is. And you can see the Cielo Vista Mall area is where you can see between the red line there on I-10 where there's a very slow go of traffic because of all the activity going on in the area, and Viscount. Between that is the area we're talking about. You can see it in this map from above a little bit here in terms of what the footprint looks a little bit like. I think Doppler Dave's helping me out right here moving this along. You can see both eastbound and westbound lanes, especially the eastbound lanes going towards Cielo Vista Mall area is very slow. You see that where the yellow starts to turn into the red, that is very slow. Doppler, if we can zoom in a little bit closer towards Viscount and the Hawkins area, you can see that is also where there is a lot of red in that area. That was where we were just getting a live look at that area from the TxDOT traffic camera. So again, this is an area you want to avoid. Police are saying to avoid the area. The last thing that they told us is that the subject is still outstanding. I know there are a lot of videos circulating on social media right now of various things that are happening at this time, but we cannot confirm and tie any of what you may be seeing on social media to what police are saying is a shooting that happened inside the Cielo Vista Mall food court area. I want to send it over, if we can, to Emma Hoggard. She's standing over at our touchscreen with some other information as well, and some other visuals of the area as well, Emma.
That's right, Eric. This is one of the first tweets that we received from El Paso police. It says, police are responding to shots fired in the food court of Cielo Vista Mall. Scene is still active. Avoid the area. This is just one of several tweets coming from El Paso police. It alerted us to what's happening. And we're not going to show you a lot of the comments because a lot of them are speculative. But I've been reading through them, and many people, ordinary people commenting, are just wondering very basic facts. Who's doing this? Any suspect that may or may not have been.
Emma, do you have the El Paso Matters tweet? I want to see the El Paso Matters tweet. You have that one because it does give us a visual of what it looks like out in that area. So that's the one that I wanted to show. Just it shows it a little bit closer to the mall area, just what that area looks like right now in terms of the massive police response. You can also see El Paso Fire in that photo as well. So that's the one that I wanted to give people a little bit of perspective, because you're right, we don't want to go through those comments right now. There's a lot of misinformation, a lot of rumors that are out there right now in the comment section. That is definitely what we want to avoid right now.
And before we go on, Emma, we want to get to our Sam Harrisonowitz. He is live at the scene now. Sam, where are you? What can you tell us about what you're seeing right now?
Hey, this is Jared. Stephanie, I am right off of Hawkins in front of the Cielo Vista Mall, and I'm going to get out of the way where you can see the dozens of first responders, police vehicles. My photographer and I, as we were driving here, we saw members of Texas DPS, ambulances, members of all different types of first responders on the way. And as Eric was mentioning earlier, our information is very limited at this time. We do know that there are victims that we don't have an exact number, that we don't know, but that is all we can tell you this time. Stephanie, Eric.
All right, it sounds like we're having a little bit of difficulty hearing exactly what Sam is saying. So, Sam, if you can hear us, let's keep that shot up if we can. I would like Sam to step out of the way for a moment so that we can, while he gets his microphone situation figured out, because this image is just haunting and eerie.
It is startling, and this is going to be the southeast corner of Cielo Vista Mall. That's the Macy's that you see on your right of your screen. The food court is actually on the opposite end where we saw the picture that was taken by El Paso Matters. So the police response to the opposite end of the mall this is also by Hawkins and across the street from the fountain. So that entire area is flooded with law enforcement. So again, this is something that we want to warn you to stay away from, because Eric, like you saw on the traffic flows, Hawkins and Viscount and Airway and Gateway East and Gateway West are all being affected by this police response to Cielo Vista Mall. Again, Sam, just getting out to the scene, that's as close as he can get, which looks like it's going to be near the Walgreens in the Fountains area. Again, this is a look at what is going on right now at the Cielo Vista Mall. And again, Eric, the food court, if you're familiar with Cielo Vista Mall, is going to be on the northwest corner area, or the west side of Cielo Vista Mall. This is the southeast corner of Cielo Vista Mall. So a lot happening in that property right now.
I think sometimes temptation might be to go see what's going on, to go check it out. When you see something like this, please avoid the area. I know in just the months after the August 3rd tragedy in 2019, I did several stories with law enforcement, various agencies about their response to these types of situations. Again, we don't know exactly what's going on right now inside the mall beyond the fact that police are saying that there was a shooting inside the mall. So I don't want to equate one to the other at this time. However, they're going there trying to figure out what's going on. Clearly, it has at least generated a massive law enforcement response, not just police, but we saw fire there as well. I heard Sam saying that he texts DPS as well. I'm sure there are many, several other agencies responding as well as police have said that there are multiple agencies responding. It's best if you avoid the area, obviously just in terms of your own safety, but also helping them do their job to figure out what's going on right now, because the last notice that we've gotten from police up to this point, which have just been a couple over the last 30 to 40 minutes or so, was the fact that a subject was, quote, outstanding.
Right, which we don't really know what that means in terms of where this person could be, whether they are still in the mall property or whether they are beyond that. So definitely, like you said, stay away from this area. Obviously, a lot of law enforcement are in this area trying to get to the bottom of what is going on at Cielo Vista Mall. So avoid this area at all costs. Because as you can see, there is still traffic moving that is going south. It's not directly in front of the mall. But again, just avoid this area at all costs. That entire footprint of Cielo Vista Mall, including the Walmart and the Sam's, the Viscount, all of that area, or Viscount and all of that area surrounding. It's, as we saw in the traffic flows, if we could take that shot real quick, just to give you a sense of what we're seeing in terms of the shutdown, if you will, of the gateway. This is a look at our TxDOT traffic cameras where, again, from what we saw in the parking lot of Cielo Vista Mall, now onto the gateway, lots of law enforcement. You could see fire trucks, you could see police cars blocking access to Cielo Vista Mall. This looks like it is Gateway West. So again, this is an area that you want to avoid so police can continue their investigation. And at this point, as far as we know, continue to look for what they're saying, a shooter who is still outstanding at this point.
Yeah, I think important to reset here. Just 3 minutes after 6 o'clock, maybe you just tuned in thinking we were just starting ABC 7 at 6. And if you haven't seen what is going on social media, I would advise you to look at that with caution at this point, because as we know has happened in the past, things circulate very quickly. And by things, I don't always mean facts. It could be, of course, rumors and unsubstantiated reports. We do have another camera now arriving to the scene that you see on the right side of your screen now, so we're going to get a sense of what the area is like. You see the caution tape up there in the background. This is an unmarked car, law enforcement car that is showing up and was allowed to get access into that area. So if you're trying to go in or out of the Cielo Vista Mall area, you're not going to be able to get in there. Of course, this is all police taped off in that area. You can see just how massive the response is. But if you're just joining us, let's reset. At this point, the information is very limited from El Paso Police. Police have sent out a couple of alerts to us in the media here and have told us that there was a shooting, a report of a shooting at the Cielo Vista food court, the mall food court area, and that a subject is still outstanding. So that is why you see this massive police presence. Police said that multiple agencies have responded to the Cielo Vista Mall area. That is what you're seeing on the right side of your screen right now. But I want to caution and I don't want anyone to be further spreading rumors. This is, even just this image is trauma-inducing for a lot of people in this community in particular. Of course, what's been going on in the news just a couple of days ago on the campus of Michigan State University, and of course what this community endured on August 3rd, 2019, 3.5 years ago, and what we were just talking about last week, which was the federal rearraignment of the accused shooter in that case. So this has been trauma that has been relived by a lot of people in this community, and even just that image. We hope that it's nothing significant and severe the way that it was 3.5 years ago, but of course just the response alone and the image that you see on your screen certainly could be causing a lot of that for a lot of people watching right now. So I want to caution everyone to use due diligence, and please do not spread rumors. Please do not put rumors out there on social media. A lot of people are hearing a lot of things right now. I know that is of course happening. Texts being exchanged, phone calls. Please do not spread misinformation out there, even if it does sound like something that could be true. we will report to you the facts and what we get confirmed from law enforcement officials, government officials, and people who can definitively confirm what is happening on the ground right now.
Yeah, of course, we are seeing all of this, and it's like you said, very familiar. And also we know that the police response has been so heavy because of what it was experienced, unfortunately, in that area just about 3.5 years ago. We want to get back to Sam Harrison-Witz. He is live right outside of Cielo Vista Mall off of Hawkins. Sam, what can you tell us?
Stephanie, that's right. I am right off Hawkins, and I want to step out of the way because you can see the dozens of first responders surrounding the mall. You can see Macy's entrance, the Dillard's entrance, over by the restaurants over on the left here. As my cameraman and I were driving here, we saw members of Texas DPS, firefighters, ambulances, local police, all different types of law enforcement and first responders. And as you've been saying, our information is very limited right now. We do know that there are victims, but we have not heard any major updates from law enforcement at this time. We did get an update from them about a half an hour ago saying that the subject is still outstanding, but that was the last time that we had heard. Again, I am off Hawkins. I'm going to step back into frame, and there are still more police, more first responders, more law enforcement arriving as we speak. Stephanie.
Hey, Sam, we're just getting another alert from police right now, and it is essentially a message intended for you as part of the media right now. I know you said you're on Hawkins. I don't know exactly where you are, but they're saying that all media needs to report to 1300 Hawkins. Cielo Vista is a crime scene. All media needs to leave the area and go to 1300 Hawkins/library is what the alert says. That is the staging area. So in terms of where you are on Hawkins and how close that is in relation to where you are, that is where you are being asked to go right now. So I just want to relay that information to you. And also for people to know that this is being treated as a crime scene, do not go to Cielo Vista Mall area.
Right, so the library is about a block north of the Hawkins intersection with Viscount. It's the Jose Cisneros Library branch. So getting into the residential area, it sounds as though they are expanding to block off Hawkins and Viscount. So obviously a very busy area and very busy intersection that police are asking people to move away from. So I would say that that would expand not just to members of the media, but also people. So again, like we've been saying, make sure to avoid this area if at all possible. Do not go around Hawkins. Do not go around Viscount and Hawkins. Avoid that area probably to Sunmount, if not to Airway, because of the police investigation that is encompassing the footprint of Cielo Vista Mall. We saw earlier during the 5 o'clock newscast that there was also police going into the area behind the Sam's and the Walmart on Viscount at Sunmount. Again, a very similar haunting situation that we are seeing play out here. This is I-10 in Westmoreland, again, taking you back out as that police presence on Gateway West continues to grow. So this is another area that you definitely want to avoid, Hawkins and Gateway West, as police continue to broaden their investigation to encompass not just the Cielo Vista footprint, but also the roads and streets surrounding Hawkins. So we want to get to another crew of ABC7 that we have out near the scene. We have Sarah Coria standing by. And Sarah, where are you and what can you tell us about what you see?
Well, Stephanie, I'm right outside of Cielo Vista Mall, about the second floor. Just behind me is an entrance into where the food court is, where police are reporting those shots being fired. Now, it's still a very active scene. There are police officers here, ambulance here, a lot of caution tape. You can see a lot of vehicles being routed out from this area that I'm in. Again, if my photographer is going to zoom in, you can see just the amount of response. You can see all the ambulances, like I said, caution tape, police officers. This is a very active scene. Surrounding areas all blocked off. Again, police are advising no one to come to this area because it is active. We do know that 911 dispatch got a call about 5:04 about a multi-casualty incident at the Cielo Vista Mall. Now, 4 ambulances were dispatched thereafter. At about 5:20, police said that there was a shooting in the food court. Again, police are saying that the shooter is still at large, and this was at 5:31 that police reported that A shopper told ABC7 he heard at least 3 gunshots before panic set in, before people started running out. But again, this is still a very active scene. Not very much information has been revealed, except for police officers who say that that is still an active scene and that a shooter is still at large. Again, this is, as you guys mentioned, a very chilling image, so close to, you know, where the original shooting of the August 3rd shooting happened. So it's a very scary sight out here. A lot of people in a panic, but we don't know much information yet. So we'll continue to update you as we learn more information. For now, Sarah Correa, ABC7.
Okay, Sarah, thank you. And again, it looks like you're on the north side of Cielo Vista Mall. Like you mentioned, the food court entrance is to the right of your screen. This is off of Viscount, so this is an area that, again, you want to avoid. You can see police are blocking that area off, blocking off access. So again, this is likely to continue for hours as police continue their investigation and continue to look for whoever is responsible for what is going on at Cielo Vista and what happened inside the food court. Again, just stay away from Viscount and Hawkins as this police investigation continues. Like I mentioned earlier, Sunmount, the area around by Sun Metro bus station, all of that area right now is full of police and other law enforcement as they responded to the scene with such fervor that we saw on the TechStop cameras in a really haunting replay of what we saw on August 3rd of 2019. Yeah,
when we took it during ABC 7 and 5, that I-10 at Westmoreland camera, you could see the urgency with which law enforcement was arriving to the scene. Of course, there was already a heavy police presence, law enforcement presence there. But one of the other things that caught my attention were the vehicles that weren't yet there, that were coming from I-10, traveling westbound, getting off on the gateway there. One I recall quickly cutting across to that off-ramp and then trying to make way over, almost actually hitting another vehicle in the process because the lights were going and they were in a hurry. Nobody was doing anything wrong in this situation, but it was just the urgency with which the response was happening. That was something that really caught my eye in that moment. And of course, what catches your eye right here on the right side of your screen is just the quantity, the number of lights flashing on those dozens, at this point, probably hundreds of law enforcement vehicles, whether they be marked El Paso police cars or the unmarked cars. Right. El Paso police had already said as well that multiple agencies are reporting at this time as well, which is to be expected when there's this type of a response. You know there are going to be multiple agencies. This is something that multiple agencies train for. That was something that I reported on in a 3-part series in November of 2019, months after the August 3rd shooting, is different members of law enforcement coming together to train together. And the reason for that is to be able to speak the same language when you get to the scene of something, whether it is something that is at the time just reports or something that is actually confirmed. And by same language, I mean, of course, you may be working with a partner on a day in, day out basis, and you may have a good chemistry with that person on the day-to-day. But when something like this potentially happens, or a call comes like this where there is a massive response required, you don't know who the person is going to be next to you at that time. It could be something, it could be someone within the agency that you're working for, or it could be someone that you've never seen before and never worked beside before. But collectively as a group, law enforcement has to work together in these types of situations and be able to speak the same language, because at least at the last that we've been told by El Paso Police, the subject is outstanding. That is the last alert that we've gotten on that matter from El Paso Police. Of course, things could have changed over the last several minutes, but that is all we've been told at this time. And as we await more information from police, we will continue to report that to you. But I just want to impress upon people just how important that training is for situations like these. I saw it firsthand, several days embedded with law enforcement agencies from across, and it's not just Texas either. It was Doña Ana County, it was New Mexico as well, because we, of course, are a sister city with not just Juarez, the other side of the border, but also sharing it with New Mexico as well. And there are a lot of people who come and go on a daily basis across state lines. And when the response is this massive, it can be called upon from agencies across state lines as well.
Right. So again, we're going back and forth on the camera shots here. This is from Hawkins looking west at the Macy's inside Cielo Vista Mall. The other shot is from the north of Cielo Vista Mall on a street called Mall, likely, that goes into Cielo Vista Mall, where you can go into the food court. And Edwin, can you just say that again? Okay,
well,
so then we also have two reporters on the scene. Our Sam Harris-Simowitz was moved to a staging location by the library, which is where we're understanding that police should be giving us an update.
This is also an update just within the last minute. El Paso Matters, our partners, have tweeted out that University Medical Center, which has El Paso's only level 1 trauma center, confirms receiving 2 shooting victims from Cielo Vista Mall. That is according to our news partners with El Paso Matters, reporting that just within the last minute right now. Of course, our newsroom also making lots of calls as well. We have several reporters on the ground right now, as you mentioned, in this area, providing us not just with these live pictures, but working to get more information and confirming details. But I do feel comfortable in sharing that update, of course, because it is from our news partners with El Paso Matters. Because, again, we are not going to report rumors or anything that is not confirmed. That was coming straight from officials with University Medical Center to El Paso Matters.
So again, this is a very active situation. The last report we were getting from police is about 30 minutes ago, when they were saying the mall scene is still active. So to avoid this area, and again, just want to reiterate the area that we're talking about. We are talking about Hawkins, Viscount, Sunmount, maybe even Airway, and also Gateway West. We saw on our traffic flows and our traffic cameras a lot of police, and they are also blocking off some access to that area. You can see some vehicles getting around, but you can imagine this is bottlenecking, as this is on Gateway headed west. So definitely, if you are driving on I-10 West or Gateway West and you're coming up to the McRae, Viscount, Fountains area, you're going to encounter this traffic. If you know someone who is going to be headed through that area, try to impress upon them to avoid this area, as police are continuing to investigate this active scene. And it sounds like we are ready to go to...
I want to confirm, but before we toss, we have gotten independent confirmation within our newsroom from UMC, University Medical Center, the only level 1 trauma center in the area, that they have received 2 patients from this shooting scene at the Cielo Vista Mall. We are working to get confirmation on the condition of those 2 patients, but that has been independently confirmed by our newsroom as well. So I wanted to share that update. And who we have... is it Sam or Sarah that we want to go to out live right now?
Okay, well, let's go to Adrian.
Let's go to Adrian. He's standing by with the latest in our studio here. Adrian.
Yeah, just keeping track of everything going on Twitter here. Just be very careful when you're going on social media, looking at the comments that people have been leaving on the reports. You see some misinformation, so just be very careful. Know who your source is. As Eric mentioned, El Paso Matters is a very good source to have. There are news partners in all this, and their update just came 2 minutes ago, where they say University Medical Center, of course, El Paso's only level 1 trauma center, confirms receiving 2 shooting victims from Cielo Vista Mall. That, again, coming from El Paso Matters, but as Eric said, we have independently confirmed that as well. But El Paso Matters is a good source. Also, the El Paso Police Department, their Twitter haven't received an update from them in about half an hour. Yeah, their last update was, again, the mall scene is still inactive. Please avoid the area. Multiple agencies responding to the area. So just be careful when you're on social media, again, that you're not just reading from somebody who leaves a comment who doesn't have any information as a source to where that information is coming from. And being from El Paso, as Steph and I, we've lived here all our lives. Cielo Vista Mall, that food court in general is very packed around this time of day, and it's on the upper level of the mall. And not only is there seating in the individuals' restaurants, which I believe there's like a McDonald's there, a Subway, there's also seating outside of those restaurants. So it's very crowded there. So it's a very crowded area there at Cielo Vista Mall. So just with everything going on, it's, again, be careful if you're out in that area. And for now, I'll send things over back to you, Stephanie and Eric.
All right, Adrian, thank you. We are just getting moments ago from El Paso Police that they are going to be giving a briefing to the media in about 5 minutes, which was several minutes ago. So we hope to have more concrete, confirmed information from El Paso police on exactly what transpired at Cielo Vista Mall, but we can tell you that we did get independent confirmation from University Medical Center of El Paso that they received 2 patients, shooting victims from Cielo Vista.
I have an update on that.
Okay.
We have gotten an update on the patients that were sent to University Medical Center. According to UMC, both are listed in critical condition. We have also inquired about any gender or age. We have not heard anything back about that yet, but the latest update is not just the 2 victims transported to University Medical Center, but that they are in critical condition, both listed in critical condition. And Stephanie, to your point about the media briefing from El Paso Police, they said 5 minutes as of about 2, almost 3 minutes ago, now 3 minutes ago. So we're hoping to get that within the next 2 minutes, as soon as maybe the next 2 minutes.
And we do have Sam Harrison-Witz, a reporter who had relocated from the area across from Cielo Vista Mall up to the staging area at the library. Another point to make, I was talking about the streets to avoid. Want to avoid that area as well, because you would imagine that there is a lot of heavy traffic going north on Hawkins from Viscount, as that media staging area is happening at the library near the corner of Viscount and Hawkins. So again, just avoid this area if you can, if at all possible, as we continue to get updates on this developing situation, a shooting at Cielo Vista Mall in the food court, which happened during our 5 o'clock newscast. We've been following that since then, and as you can see, the police presence there as night falls, it continues to grow at this time as many law enforcement agencies are responding. And Eric, I was hearing from people moments before we got word of this shooting that they were seeing police and different law enforcement agencies coming from all parts of town. They were going, they were going from the central El Paso all the way west, and they kept seeing law enforcement. So to your point, when you mentioned it's various law enforcement, we're seeing law enforcement from across the city and county responding to Cielo Vista Mall tonight to investigate the shooting. And also, from what we understand, they had said at last we heard that the shooter was still outstanding. We are hoping to get more information and an update on the status of their search in the coming minutes as police are preparing to give a media update. And we will get that information for you hopefully in the next few minutes.
They said about 5 minutes at 6:18. It's now 6:22, so potentially within the next minute or so from El Paso Police, hoping to get that update. We are getting some more information within our newsroom. Okay.
Okay.
And we're also hearing from Sarah Coria. She's speaking with witnesses on the ground as well. But if you're just joining us here, I just want to sort through some of this before we do anything. Okay, they're putting more tape up, as you can see in the scene right now. Sarah is being moved right now, but she said she did speak with a witness who saw what happened, so we'll try to get to that as soon as we can. But she is being moved right now as they are putting up the more caution tape in that area, as you can see. But again, if you are just joining us right now, there is a reported shooting at the Cielo Vista Mall food court area that happened, we believe, sometime after 5 o'clock. We started getting the alerts just towards the end of our ABC 7 at 5 o'clock newscast, so somewhere prior to that. And of course, the law enforcement presence is massive, swift, and you can see ambulances, police, fire. This gives you a wider picture of the area of what it looks like looking towards the Macy's, looking towards downtown El Paso off in the distance, and the Star on the Mountain behind that. Okay, we're getting another update here from police as we were expecting an update, media brief in 5 minutes. That was at 6:18. It's now been a little more than 5 minutes. This one is just saying once again where the staging area is. So we're hoping that they're getting ready here any minute now to give us that update directly from El Paso Police. This is another angle. You can see the Dillards off in the distance with that massive law enforcement presence. And if you remember back to August 3rd of 2019, of course, 3.5 years ago, there were initial reports of a shooting also happening inside the Cielo Vista Mall. We saw lots of videos from inside the mall area of people running out in a panic in that area, and people at the time thinking that there was a shooting there. Of course, the shooting ended up being in and only in the Cielo Vista Walmart, which is a separate store, of course, from the mall itself. This one is being reported inside the food court area of the mall. So that the reason I bring that up too is, again, don't necessarily believe all the rumors that you see and what you hear out there. And we are not just going to share anything that comes into our newsroom without confirming that that is in fact what happened. And we are hoping to get some of that confirmation from police any minute now. As they said, 5 minutes, just within the last couple of minutes, about 10 minutes ago, 8 minutes ago, I should say, that came in from police. Let's send it over to Doppler Dave now to give us a better sense of traffic in the area. We see anything that is, anyone who's in that area is at a gridlock right now. But Doppler, you can give us a better sense from the map just how you really want to avoid that area.
Yeah, and that's what we've been telling folks. I know we got more alerts that are coming in, but certainly if you're getting off of work or you planned on traveling in and around maybe the airport or the mall, you want to stay away from that for sure. Just go ahead and wait till things settle down or take an alternate route. But again, there's the Cielo Vista Mall. There's Vicon. This is the interstate going east and west. And you can see very slow going. Where we have the reds, again, just moving at a snail's pace, where you see some of the yellows a little bit faster, but not much. You're talking about between Airway Boulevard and Hawkins Boulevard. That's where we're seeing the traffic. Lightly going to continue to build, and then we all know that folks are getting off of work and sporting events and heading along the interstate in that general area, but certainly you want to stay away.
Sure. Many of you watching at home, you probably just heard it on our phones actually, but many of you at home probably just got an emergency alert. I'm going to read it out loud to you in case you did not get the emergency alert on your phone. The emergency alert that just came in, this is across, not specific to any one entity. This is just the emergency alert. Of course, I'm sure many of you remember that happening on August 3rd, 2019. It says Family Reception Center established at Burgess High School main gym. That's located at 7800 Edgemere. So again, they're calling this a Family Reception Center being established at Burgess High School because I'm sure a lot of you out there right now may have had family or loved ones in the mall at the time or near the time of when this happened, and maybe having trouble getting in touch with them right now, trying to figure out their location. Of course, this was something that happened back in August 3rd as well, and the last thing you want is people going to the area and to the scene, as it is an active crime scene right now. So that is where, if you are trying to reunify with family members and meet up with people that you've been trying to get in touch with, and maybe you're playing some phone tag right now, the emergency alert is saying that Family Reception Center is being established at Burgess High School, at the main gym there at Burgess High School. That's located at 7800 Edgemere. So that is where you should head, not to the Cielo Vista Mall area. Of course, you will not be able to get into the Cielo Vista Mall right now. It is a very active scene, a heavy police presence surrounding the mall right now. Caution tape blocking off the entire area, so not just the traffic gridlock, but also you will not be able to get into that mall area. So if you were in touch with someone, a loved one, trying to get reunified with them, trying to get in touch with them, that is where people are being asked to go, according to this emergency alert that I'm sure many of you just received on your phone right now.
And also, Eric, we are getting confirmed information that UMC has received 2 victims who are in critical condition. We do not know the age, we do not know the gender or any identifying statistics of the 2 people who have been taken to UMC. Police said that there was going to be an update at the staging area by the library near Cielo Vista Mall, which is the Jose Cisneros branch, and that's on Hawkins and Viscount. And they said that that was going to happen. Hopefully it has begun, because they said it was going to be 5 minutes, and that was about 10 minutes ago. So we have our crew at the scene, at the staging area. We are awaiting more information from them. But all we know that is confirmed right now from University Medical Center is that they have received 2 shooting victims from Cielo Vista Mall, and that they are in critical condition. And again, we don't know any more information about that. We are not going to go with anything that is not confirmed at this time. We are hearing information from sources, but we are going to wait for the official word from El Paso Police during this update that they are going to be giving at the mall, or rather at the library branch near the Cielo Vista Mall.
Just going through some of the questions that I've been getting, and actually one of them just from about 15, 17 minutes ago was from someone asking why El Pasoans didn't get an alert on our cell phones, just like when the Walmart shooting happened. Of course, that was prior to this alert just being sent out. this emergency alert. As you can see, we get a little bit of a closer shot of the area in this picture right now, where you can see a couple law enforcement members, it looks like, standing at the doors there, making sure that no one is entering the Cielo Vista Mall area, heavily guarding that area right now. But of course, that was one of the questions. But if you remember back in August 3rd, 2019, that alert came out much later than the initial reports of the shooting actually happened. I believe it was a little over an hour after. So in this case, probably within an hour or so, close to an hour. And this was specifically to set up this emergency reception center. That is just a designated location, as so many people are trying to get back together with loved ones, figure out where they are, reconvene with them. Of course, August 3rd happened on a Saturday morning. Back to school shopping was going on. This happening at a very busy time in an afternoon on a school day. So there could be plenty of people going to pick up store items, going shopping after a day of work, after a day of school. So another highly trafficked time in terms of when people would be going and trafficking, going into and out of the mall, I should say. And in terms of the police putting out that alert that they would be doing a media brief within 5 minutes, we're reporting to you because that's what they're telling us. Although I quite frankly would have been surprised if it happened within those 5 minutes. So I don't want people to read too much into that, thinking, what's taking so long? There's a lot going on right now, and they are just trying to stage the area of where that media briefing will ultimately be, and police have to gather all of the facts of what they know at this time before they're comfortable sharing that update to avoid putting any misinformation out there. So I wouldn't read too much into the fact that, of course, now it's been about 12, 13 minutes since that alert was saying that the media briefing would be happening in 5 minutes. Of course, we will bring that to you as soon as it does happen, but at this time, we are still awaiting the official word from police.
And again, I'm getting messages too from people asking about, they had family members in the mall, they had friends who had family members in the mall. The police are asking for family members to go to Burgess High School. Do not go to the mall, go to Burgess High School, which is north of the mall. That's where they have a family staging area for them. This is a family reunification center that is set up at Burgess High School. So that is the best information that we can give you. We do not have any more identifying information about the two victims who we know have been taken to University Medical Center. And obviously this is a very tense situation. Everybody is trying to manage their emotions and their feelings about what's happening. But just make sure that you go to Burgess if you had someone who was at the mall, and then you can get more information there. And we are trying to get more information from police as soon as we get that from the update that is happening at the library. So again, this is a lot happening. I know a lot of people want to rush to the scene, but you're not going to get the information there. You're going to have to wait for that to come from the Family Reunification Center at Burgess, or once we get that information from El Paso Police.
And I can tell you also, we have ABC 7's Brianna Perez at the media staging area awaiting that update from police, and they're about to start right now, so let's head out there and take a live listen from El Paso Police. This is Sergeant Robert Gomez, a spokesperson for the police department, who is getting prepared to deliver remarks.
Everybody ready? Anybody not ready? Ready.
Okay. I'm Sergeant Robert Gomez, Public Information Officer, El Paso Police Department. This afternoon, approximately 5:10, the 911 Center received multiple calls from the Cielo Vista Mall at 8401 Gateway West in reference to shots fired, possible active shooter. Multiple units responded from the El Paso Police Department and attempted to locate the shooter. At this time, we do have 4 persons that were injured or shot during this incident. We can confirm 1 person has deceased and the other 3 have been transported to local hospitals. At this moment, we have El Paso Police Department, El Paso Police Department SWAT, and multiple units from other agencies assisting to clear the mall and secure it before it's released. We do not have any active shooters at this time. We do believe the scene is secure. We are going to verify by going through the mall and safeguarding the mall before we release it. A reunification center has been established at Burgess High School, 6400 Edgemere. We'd like the public, if anybody during this incident has not made contact with their loved ones or wants information, they need to proceed to Burgess High School, the large gym. We will get the information to you as soon as possible, but that is the best place for you to receive any information on any loved ones that you don't have contact with or have lost contact with. Right now, like I said, the units are clearing the mall. They're gathering witnesses. This is a large scene as being the mall, so it's going to take time to clear the mall entirely and secure the witnesses. Right now, we don't have any more information on the injured. Like I said earlier, we have a total 4 were shot inside the mall. We think at the approximate area of the food court, but that's not confirmed at this time right now. We don't know the exact location. 1 person is confirmed deceased and 3 are injured, transported to local hospitals. That's all I have right now. When information becomes available, we will make sure to provide it to the media so that it can be passed on to the citizens. And with that, I'll take any questions. We have 1 person in custody. We do believe there possibly could be 1 outstanding. That's why the extensive search of the mall is being done right now.
Do you know if this was a targeted shooting or was this a random shooting?
It's too early to discuss or to speculate on motives. That will be part of the investigation. Right now, we're gathering, we're making sure that we take care of the injured, secure the mall, look for the outstanding, and when we conduct that investigation and we have more information, we'll be able to provide it. But at this time, it's too early to discuss or speculate what the motive of the shooter or the reason for the shooting was.
We saw some people on the text.com running across the freeway going towards the fountains. Is there any activity at the fountains as well?
Right now, I don't have information that there was activity or any incidents at the fountains. I can say that after and during this incident, it was chaotic. People did flee. They were scared. Like I said, there was shots fired in the mall. It does cause panic, and I'm sure that is part of what was seen on the text.com cameras. But again, I have nothing confirmed on the fountains. We don't have any other locations that we believe are involved or active. All we know right now, it's isolated to Cielo Vista Mall.
Any age of the suspected shooter?
You know, I don't have any information on the person in custody. Again, shortly after we conduct our investigation or start our investigation a little further, I'll be able to provide that information. But as of right now, I only have preliminary information.
Do you have any information on the mall employees? Have they been able to leave?
Right now, they're trying to control the exit of all personnel from the mall, including employees, any shoppers. They're doing a slow, methodical clearing of the mall, which includes removing or safely evacuating any persons that were there, and that includes mall employees.
Officer, we know there's a reunification center at Burgess. As people are leaving the mall, are they going to be allowed to use their cars, or are they going to have to walk there?
You know, I don't know what the situation is with vehicles. I know they are moving witnesses out of the mall right now. I do believe they're utilizing city buses. As far as personal vehicles in the mall, I'm not sure right now. That'll be part of the investigation, and if that information comes available, I will provide it so that people coming to the mall or having to make arrangements can make other arrangements.
Any information on the victims who were shot, ages?
Again, all we have right now is preliminary. I don't have ages or male or female at this time. It's very preliminary. We want to make sure the scene's secure, look for the shooter or possible shooter that's outstanding, and make sure everybody's safe before I can get that information out to you. But as soon as it's available, we will provide it.
Can you tell us when the suspect was taken into custody?
Initial reports, and this is all preliminary, that the suspect was taken into custody inside the mall very shortly after the incident began. Now, as to how it happened, who placed him in custody, or how that unfolded, I don't have that information, but I do know that he was taken into custody, or correction. The person was taken into custody, I'm not sure if it's male or female at this time, was taken into custody shortly after the incident occurred.
Was a weapon recovered?
I do believe that at least one weapon was recovered, but I don't know at this time in what involvement that weapon.
Can you tell us about that weapon?
No, I can't right now. That's part of the investigation, and we won't be divulging that until we have more information and can further the investigation along.
I'm sorry, is it possible that there were two
again, we're not eliminating any possibilities right now. Anything is possible. This is all preliminary investigations and preliminary information. So we are not eliminating any possibilities or speculating on how it happened. We will provide that information once we've conducted a thorough investigation and that we can confirm facts before we release them.
Do you know who you're looking for?
There is a suspect description, but there's multiple suspect descriptions. Right now, I don't have anything that I can provide for you as far as descriptions. If that should be available later and they do believe they need the public to know, we will release it. But at this moment, I don't have any releasable information on suspect descriptions.
The suspect in custody? The suspect in custody, did you say male, female?
I don't know the suspect that's in custody. I misspoke when I said he. I don't know the gender of the person in custody. As soon as I find that out, we will provide it. Any other questions? Okay. Again, as information becomes available, we will provide it as it. Bear with us. This is a large scene. It will take time to clear them all and have further information. But as soon as I have more information out, we will provide it for the public to know.
You can't give us any other information so that way people know, who to look out for at this time?
No.
Can you provide what you just said in Spanish?
Yes. Are everybody good in English? Because we're going to transition to Spanish. Yes? Okay.
All right, there's a lot of information there from Sergeant Robert Gomez of El Paso Police. The first and foremost is 1 killed, 3 others shot, according to El Paso Police, and transported to local hospitals. We had independently confirmed that UMC, University Medical Center, had received 2 patients in critical condition. There is 1 additional victim. It's not clear if that person has also been sent to University Medical Center, one of the other area hospitals as well, but the shots coming out at 5:10.
That person did not go to Hospitals of Providence. We are trying to find out the other hospital that this person went to, but again, you said UMC receiving 2. Didn't want to.
And yeah, of course, Del Sol was another hospital where a lot of the victims were sent back on August 3rd of 2019.
Right, a level 2 trauma
that's
center.
the closest hospital in terms of geographically speaking. That is the closest hospital, but of course the only level 1 trauma center, University Medical Center, which is where a lot of victims were sent as well. But in this case, we've confirmed 2. There are 3 victims in this shooting who have been shot and have been sent to hospitals. 1 killed. Sergeant Robert Gomez with El Paso Police saying they started to get the multiple 911 calls at 5:10 this afternoon of shots fired and a possible active shooter inside the Cielo Vista Mall. They believed it was the food court area, but he couldn't even confirm that that was the location of where the victims were located. They have 1 suspect in custody. They also believe that there could be 1 more outstanding at this time, but did not provide any type of description as to what that person may or may look like, age, gender, anything like that.
Yeah.
But there is 1 suspect that they believe was taken into custody inside the mall. He was also asked about possible weapon recoveries. They believe that 1 weapon may have been recovered as well. The reunification right now, Center, if you are looking to reunify with family members or loved ones or friends, is at Burgess High School at the main gym.
They did say that there are no active shooters at the time, albeit they did say that there is a possible another suspect that they are still looking for, and Brianna Perez pressed Sergeant Gomez on whether they could give a description. He did allude to having several different descriptions, but if they felt that it was necessary for the public to have that information, they would release it. But we did not get more clear defining characteristics of the person they are looking for. But again, they said the scene was secure and that El Paso Police and SWAT are going through the mall and methodically and slowly releasing people from the mall. That includes people who had patronized the mall and employees of the mall. So again, if you have someone who you know is at the mall or someone who works at the mall, they are urging family members to go to Burgess High School at the large gym as they continue to slowly and methodically go through the mall to clear it, to make sure that there is no remaining shooter remaining in the mall.
The other important question I think a lot of people are wondering at this time right now is, why did this happen? How did this happen? By the way, this is the emergency alert that was sent out from the Office of Emergency Management with El Paso, the city of El Paso tweeting out that the Office of Emergency Management had activated this a family reception center at Burgess High School, the main gym that's located at 7800 Edgemere. Do not go to the Cielo Vista Mall area if you are trying to reunify with any loved ones or get in touch with anyone who may have been in the mall at the time or in the area at the time and you've been having a difficulty getting back in touch with them. So that was the alert sent out just about 15 minutes ago or so. But back to the point that I was making, a lot of people wondering now, why did this happen? What actually happened inside the mall? And that was one of the questions that Sergeant Robert Gomez was asked, is a possible motive. Was this a targeted attack, or was this some type of dispute that turned into something more? Of course, everyone, I think most people's recollections and memories go back to August 3rd of 2019, just steps away from where this scene is at the Cielo Vista Walmart and what was behind that attack on our community. But at this time, they do not have, it is so early in the investigation, they are not at least willing to say at this time, and they don't have confirmed what ultimately caused these shots to start being fired inside the Cielo Vista Mall that resulted in one person being killed, 3 more shot and transported to local hospitals, and we've confirmed at least 2 of those 3 have been transported to University Medical Center and are in critical condition right now.
And also, Sergeant Robert Gomez said it is too early to speculate on not just, like you said, the motive, but they do not have any identity on the victims. So we don't even know the gender. We don't know the age. We are trying to get more information. They just said it was very early in their investigation. Someone asked about what we were seeing on social media. He was saying that he cannot speak to the apprehensions that we're seeing on social media, but they do have one person in custody. And again, police are continuing to look for a possible second shooter as they continue to search the mall.
I'm actually just seeing a tweet from Governor Greg Abbott, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who says just within the last 3 minutes here that he says, quote, "I spoke to Mayor Leeser about the shooting tonight in El Paso. I offered the full support of the state of Texas, including the assistance of the Texas Department of Public Safety and Texas Division of Emergency Management to help the city of El Paso respond to this tragic event." He goes on to say thank you to all law enforcement and first responders who quickly went into action to protect their fellow Texans. That just coming within the last couple of minutes from Texas Governor Greg Abbott. So basically what's there is that there is a line of communication happening between the state level and the governor and El Paso Mayor Oscar Leeser, who at this point we had not heard of. I did reach out to his office just within the last hour or so to try and get some information, but of course a very busy time right now. But Mayor Leeser has been in communication with Governor Greg Abbott at this time. The other thing that I noticed during Sergeant Robert Gomez's comments as well, the sound of the helicopters above. That brought me back as well. Hearing that sound of the helicopters, especially as he lays out the possibility that they're still searching for someone else. So, right. Of course, this is a very active scene, and don't be surprised if you're in and around anywhere in that area to hear those helicopters overhead, as they may be using not just ground but also air support to try and locate this potential other suspect that they say that they might be looking for. They did not provide any type of description, but they say one person in custody, and they believe that there could be one more outstanding.
We do have Sam Harrison-Witz, who is also near Cielo Vista Mall, and we want to go to him. He's standing by live. Sam, what can you tell us?
Stephanie, the one thing I can tell you that we have been able to see is just how massive and how comprehensive the law enforcement and first responder response has been to this. We have seen every single type of first responder and law enforcement arrive at this scene, from El Paso police, ambulances, the fire department, as well as even school district police. We've seen EPISD police, El Paso Community College police, even CVP officials have responded to the scene. I'm going to get out of the way just so you can see how massive this response is. You can see the police cars in front of the Macy's entrance, the Dillard's entrance. I know our viewers may not be able to see it, but way back at the end of the mall, if you're familiar with the area, you can see first responders all the way to the Cinemark movie theater. So it is a comprehensive response from all types of first responders here, and it has not changed one bit. There has been dozens, maybe 3-4 dozen from what I can see, police vehicles and first responder vehicles. And I understand that we have gotten that new information about the one person who has tragically died and the 3 others that were shot. But we still know that there are still police and other first responders still arriving as we speak, and the first responder amount continues to grow. And I know that we're still working to learn that new information. But again, for anyone, avoid the area. As we've mentioned, that Families Response Center at Burgess High School, that is an area where people can go and check in. And just one thing I'd like to say is to check in via text, via phone to your loved ones, but please avoid the area for your safety.
Another tweet here from Crime Stoppers of El Paso. Instead of putting things out on social media, they are asking if anyone has information about this shooting. Call Crime Stoppers immediately, and we can put this number up on your screen eventually here in a moment as well. It is 915-566-8477. That spells out TIPS, T-I-P-S. Again, 915-566-8477. Thanks and stay safe. So that is from Crime Stoppers of El Paso, asking anyone. This was at 6:35 here, so within the last 15 minutes, anyone with information about the shooting to please call Crime Stoppers immediately at 915-566-8477. Again, 566-8477, as they are trying to take any and all information that they can get, filter through, as of course there's a lot of misinformation that can come out of these scenarios,
right,
to hopefully allow them to pinpoint. At this point, they believe what could be a second suspect that is outstanding, is the word that Sergeant Robert Gomez used and police had used earlier. They're using the word outstanding in terms of a potential second person that is still at large. One person is in custody. Here is that tweet that I read just a moment ago from Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Again, if you're just joining us, he's saying that he spoke to Mayor Leeser about the shooting tonight in El Paso, which police have just confirmed 1 person killed, 3 more shot and transported to local hospitals. Governor Greg Abbott goes on to say, I offered the full support of the state of Texas, including the assistance of the Texas Department of Public Safety and Texas Division of Emergency Management to help the city of El Paso respond to this tragic event. So that was coming from Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
Just getting word from our reporter Brianna Bettis on the scene that we are expecting another update in another hour as they continue to investigate. And just again want to recap what we know so far, confirmed from El Paso Police moments ago during their briefing, that they got the call about 5:10 about a possible active shooter at Cielo Vista Mall. 4 people were shot, 1 died, 3 are at area hospitals. We confirmed that 2 were taken to University Medical Center. And this is speculation on my part, but Del Sol Medical Center is nearby. It is a level 2 trauma center. We are working to get confirmation on whether the person was taken to Del Sol. But in the meantime, we can tell you that El Paso Police and other units are clearing Cielo Vista Mall. They believe there are no active shooters at the time inside Cielo Vista Mall. They are working to secure the scene, and what they described to the reporters is that they are going methodically and slowly through Cielo Vista Mall because they are looking for a possible outstanding second shooter. So they are looking through Cielo Vista Mall. They have opened a reunification center for families, so people who had family members at the mall, whether they were working or visiting the mall, they are asking people to go to the family reunification at Burgess High School inside the large gym, and not to go to Cielo Vista Mall, and to continue to avoid this area. This is a live look where you can see El Paso Police gathering inside one of the areas.
This is Burgess.
Oh, rather,
this
sorry,
is
Burgess.
Center,
this
yep.
is Burgess. They're gathered inside the reunification center at Burgess High School, which is 2 blocks away from Cielo Vista Mall.
7800 Edgemere, and the main gym, that is where you're being asked to go if you're trying to reunify with loved ones and family members, Stephanie.
And unfortunately, we don't have any information on the victims, on the suspect, the shooter. We don't have a description. We don't have a motive at this point. We asked all of these questions of El Paso Police, and they stated it was too early in the investigation. We understand there was a lot happening on social media right now, a lot of speculation about what led to this. We did not get any of that confirmed from El Paso Police, so we are hoping to get more information from police as they continue their investigation, and hopefully get more information from the one person they do have in custody. Again, we didn't get any information on who that person was, whether even if it was a male or female. El Paso Police could not confirm that.
Yeah, and we were, Brianna Perez, who was there on the scene of the media briefing, asked Sergeant Robert Gomez, pressed him to provide some type of description for people who may be concerned.
Right, to help us understand why they couldn't provide that.
Well, and who this person could be, what they may look like, to try and help out ultimately. with their investigation, and also for people just to be on the lookout and be on guard if they're in the area, to be aware of their surroundings and aware of a potential suspect that law enforcement are actively looking for right now. He said no, just in one simple word there. So he did not provide any type of description. They weren't comfortable at this point sharing a description of the outstanding subject. You know, I think it's also important to acknowledge the fact that this isn't specifically with El Paso Police. They are just coming off a significant loss within the department. Right. Police Chief Greg Allen just passing after a medical procedure while recovering in the hospital just a couple of weeks ago. And so this is a department that now has an interim police chief and is in a transitional phase. Right. I'm just putting that out there because it's happened. It has nothing to do necessarily with the response or anything like that at this point, but that is something that they are dealing with as an agency right now.
Right. As humans.
And as humans, dealing with that loss, someone who is regarded as such a leader and someone who led them through what happened 3.5 years ago, and he unfortunately is no longer with us because of his passing a couple of weeks ago. And so this is something that the department is also dealing with and having to navigate through something where so much information can come in at once. Sergeant Robert Gomez had mentioned that at the top of that briefing there, that multiple calls of shots fired and a possible active shooter came in at 5:10 this afternoon. And of course, once one call comes in and you're in a mall area, right, you know the calls are likely coming in by the dozens, if not more. Right. And then a matter of all the other calls that could come in with information that could be accurate, partially accurate, or not accurate at all. And they have to sift through all of that and try and figure out what's true, what's going on right now. So I just wanted to bring that point up too, because I know that that's something that this department is having to deal with right now as well. Right,
of course. Something else I wanted to bring up that we didn't touch upon is that Brianna Bettis asked about a weapon. A weapon was recovered. We don't have any information on what kind of weapon that was, other than we know that the victims were shot, but we don't know what kind of weapon was recovered. So again, this is a very active scene. This is a very active investigation as police are continuing to gather more information about what exactly happened inside the mall. We had initially reported even that it was outside of the food court, and now we're getting that it might have been in that area. But as Adrian Ochoa, who's standing by, stated earlier, it's upstairs. If you've been in the mall there, you can look down down to the first floor. So it's a very open air. People can be inside a restaurant. They could sit outside the restaurants. So, and then it's also just a part of the mall outside of Dillard's. And so there's just so much happening in that area. So it's really, at this point, very preliminary information, but all confirmed what we are giving to you from El Paso Police. And now we want to get over to Adrian Ochoa standing by at our touchscreen. He's been monitoring social media and, of course, reputable, confirmed social media. Adrian.
Yes, Steph, really want to hammer this home to people, especially if you're going to El Paso Community College. If you're a El Paso Community College student, you don't have class. If you're at the Valle Verde campus, or if you're at the Academic Services Center, those classes at those facilities have all been canceled. That was a tweet sent out by EPCC about an hour ago. So again, if you have any classes at the Valle Verde campus or at the Academic Services Center, you don't have class. That has been canceled. We've been getting a lot of reaction from our leaders, El Paso leaders here. Just recently, Veronica Escobar just tweeted out. Go ahead and pull that up for you. Here she says, quote, "In my community, a shooting at the mall adjacent to the Walmart where 23 were killed on August 3rd, 2019. And she's sharing the El Paso Matters alert that came down just a while ago from Sergeant Robert Gomez, confirming that one person was killed and 3 have been taken to the hospital with injuries. So that was coming from Veronica Escobar. Again, you're talking about an area here. The mall is right in the middle of where the Walmart, on one side, you have the Walmart where the shooting happened back in 2019. On the other side, you have the fountains. So a very highly populated area. It was interesting that Sergeant Gomez mentioned that this happened at 5:10. That's around the time, if you go to the mall around lunchtime or after school hours, Burgess High School is within walking distance to the mall. It's very highly trafficked area, especially the food court. I've been out there during lunchtime hours. Students are out there, and then even after school, when school lets out, they go there because their parents pick them up at the mall at some time. So there's just something to think about around that time, especially that this happened during a school day. So just something to think about, a very highly populated area, especially after when school lets out. From nearby Burgess High School. Some things back over to you, Eric and Stephanie.
And Adrian, thankfully today actually was early release for high schools in El Paso ISD because of parent-teacher conferences. So hopefully that area not any additionally busy because a lot of parents were attending parent-teacher conferences and kids had been let out at noon.
Well, and the flip side of that is maybe they went to the mall, so there may have been more people in that area because of not being in school as late as possible. But Adrian, you mentioned that Burgess High School is not far from there. That is the reunification center right now that has been established at the main gym there at Burgess High School at 7800 Edgemere. That is also where ABC7 Sarah Coria is now located. So we want to take her live. And Sarah, can you tell us what it looks like in that area? Have you seen a lot of people coming and going in that area?
Yeah, Eric, I'm right at Burgess, where the family is being asked to come to reunite with people they got separated from. Right now, we're seeing family members going in and out. Police officers are here. There is also ambulances here, of course, not with their sirens on, but we're starting to see more and more people coming through in and out of those doors again. They're being asked to come here to reunite with family they may have been separated with. They're being asked to meet up with them in the gymnasium. I'm here, though, with a witness, someone who was inside the Cielo Vista Mall. He said he was there with a friend and they got separated, but this is Darren, he's gonna tell us about what he saw and what he heard when he was inside Cielo Vista Mall. Darren, can you tell us what you heard while you were there?
Well, like I stated before, me and my friend, we were at Spencer's and we were just shopping around. We were about to leave, and that's when we heard the 3 shots go off, and then I thought somebody was popping balloons or whatever, something like a messed up joke. And I peered out and I saw the barrel of a gun, and then we just evac'd after that. And then when we got into the vehicle, we were going to leave, but I saw people running out with their kids, so I just wanted to help them out. So I helped about 5 or 6 families. I'm not too sure, but the police stopped me because I was speeding back and forth, so I think I looked suspicious. So they just wanted to talk to me, and then after they cleared me out, that's when I was going to leave, but you guys came up to talk to me.
And can you tell us about the kind of panic you saw? What did you see, as you heard those shots go off? What did it look like inside?
I was trying to exit because we were going through an emergency exit. I stay calm in situations like this because I've grown up with a background due to something like this. But people were pushing and shoving, and which is understandable because they were scared. But I was trying to be the role model that they needed to have so people could leave and be safe.
And how many people would you say were around you during that time?
I want to say that it was estimated like 6 people.
So was the mall not very crowded at that time in that area? Everyone running through the same exit?
No, it wasn't really crowded because I believe people were going to pick up their children. It was a decent afternoon, I guess, to go to the mall. But other than that, everything was okay.
And I'm sure a very scary sight for you to see, for all of us in El Paso to witness. Thank you for your time. And I hope you find your friend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, Stephanie and Eric were here at Burgess. Many families coming through here hoping to be reunited with loved ones. Still very confusing, a lot of information not really being cleared up. But again, this is an ongoing investigation. We'll continue to be out here, let you know more information as it becomes available. For now, from Burgess High School, Sarah Coria, ABC7.
Okay, Sarah, thank you for getting that young man to share his story. So scary to hear him say that he actually saw the barrel of the gun and heard the bullets, the gunshots go off inside Cielo Vista Mall. He said he was inside Spencer's, which is upstairs, opposite end of the food court. So in that same area, again, like I had mentioned earlier, and I'm sure anyone who goes into a mall, it's so echoey. So that area was initially indicated as where it had occurred. But again, he was upstairs and saw what happened.
I think the way we react to these things now is so different, too, especially since what happened in August of 2019. Of course, that was the real deal. I think a lot of people probably also remember, because one of the things that stood out to me from the witness account there is also he initially thought it was someone popping balloons or some type of prank. If you go back to April 26th of 2021 inside the Cielo Vista Walmart, there was the criminal probe into a celebrity appearance that led to a false active shooter report at the Cielo Vista Mall. We had reported on that at the time, and of course that was when Danny Duncan had been in there, and there was some type of event going on, and there was a chaos and panic that had happened after a loud noise, and people thought that there was an active shooter inside the mall in that moment. And so of course everyone's senses and trauma, everything is heightened in those moments, and so his initial reaction was popping of balloons. And of course in this case, this was another situation where it's the real deal, and police have confirmed that one person was killed, 3 more people have been shot and are transported to local hospitals, and 2 people that we have confirmed were listed in critical condition and transported to University Medical Center. We have not gotten confirmation where that 3rd person was transported, but you can see on the right side of our screen right now, there is gridlock in that area. If you're trying to come and go in the Cielo Vista Mall area, you're not going to be able to. And I believe this is also within the police taped off area, people who may have just been there at the time.
Yeah, they're not being allowed to leave.
They're not being allowed to leave because there is an active investigation, active crime scene going on right now. And as of the last update from, the only update at this point from police, they say they are still looking for what could be one outstanding suspect with 1 in custody. So they're going to have to go car by car and talk to every single person to get whatever information they can as part of this investigation and into ultimately, hopefully, finding this outstanding suspect they're looking for.
Right, the way he described it, slowly and methodically clearing the mall as they are looking to find another shooter that they believe might still be, as they said, outstanding. So at this point, we can tell you again, police are remaining on the scene, a very heavy police presence outside of Cielo Vista Mall and the surrounding area. What we're looking at is, it looks like the area that is on Hawkins. That light there is the light that you can take to get into Cielo Vista Mall across from Panda Express. So this is an area that heavily trafficked because it's Hawkins. It looks pretty light out there, so hopefully a lot of people are staying away. Avoid Hawkins if at all possible. It looks like traffic has cleared on Gateway West again, but police are remaining on the scene as they continue their investigation. This is I-10 and Hawkins that you're looking at right now, and you can see that TxDOT has moved the camera so we can get a better glimpse of the mall. Just avoid this area as if at all possible. Tonight as police continue their investigation and they try to get to the bottom of what exactly happened. The spokesman who we heard from maybe about 20 or so minutes ago wasn't able to give us a lot of information, only confirming that there was a shooting and that 1 person died and 3 more people were wounded and that they are continuing to look for 1 more person. So of course, because this is an active investigation, we are urging you to stay away from this area. If you go to the Walmart, if you go to the Sam's, if you were thinking of going to Hooters or the movies at Cinemark, avoid that area because that area is likely part of the crime scene that police are working to clear as they continue to search for a possible 2nd shooter in this investigation.
We are expecting another update from El Paso Police. They had said in about an hour as of the last one, so that's expected to be about 8 o'clock tonight. The other thing I want to kind of point out at this point now, too, is even if you weren't in the area at the time, maybe even just watching this is very difficult for a lot of people.
Right.
We just launched our Be Mindful campaign just a couple of weeks ago, and of course that is with the backdrop of what everyone went through with the pandemic, but also, of course, the August 3rd tragedy. If you go to KVI.com and click on the Be Mindful tab at the top of the screen there, that will bring you to a list of links to resources available. So if you are feeling something right now, going through something right now, as many of you I'm sure are, if nothing else, are having flashbacks and reliving what you went through 3.5 years ago, this is the crisis helpline now on your screen, 915-779-1800. That is available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I had reported on the call volume that went into a year ago, the call volume that had gone into Emergence Health Network since August 3rd, and then throughout the pandemic, it had gone from about 50 or so calls a month on average, and it spiked to 300 to 400 plus in a month right after August 3rd, and then that number stayed above 250 through much of the pandemic, month by month, and we just had Emergence in here as part of our Be Mindful newscast a couple of weeks ago, and they said that call volume had started to come down back to pre-pandemic and pre-August 3rd levels.
Right.
Whether that's an indication of people doing better or just fewer people reaching out for that help, it's kind of hard to say. But, you know, I think we've gotten to a point where we're getting a little bit more removed, that some people have started to feel some sense of normalcy again in terms of their everyday life. And I'm just talking about the pandemic too, about being able to go out and about to places and getting back to that point, and then to kind of be thrust back into what you may be feeling right now.
We want to get to Adrian Ochoa, who's standing by with some new information, but just wanted to update you real quick before I do, Adrian. Police sending us a message that they're going to give that update that we had mentioned earlier, the second media update, around 8 o'clock this evening. So we're hoping to get more confirmed information from El Paso Police, but Adrian, you have some new information as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to relay some information in case you ride Sun Metro bus and your stop involves the Cielo Vista area. Just know that if you know that there's a Sun Metro station right across from the Hooters behind the Walmart, that station is being shut down because that's being blocked right now. So the stop, if your stop involves that Cielo Vista Mall area, it's going to be Ponder Park, which if you know Ponder Park, it's right across the street from the Hooters in that shopping area. So it's just right across the street, Viscount Street, that would be. So just keep that in mind. If you're watching us and you're going to be going back to the Cielo Vista area, you won't be stopped at that Sun Metro station. You're going to be dropped off at Ponder Park. Reactions still coming in also from city leaders in the borderland. Just more recently from Mayor Ken Miyagishima from Las Cruces saying, quote, "I just got home and turned on the TV. I'm sorry to hear about this shooting. I texted Mayor Leeser and let him know the city of Las Cruces is praying for El Paso and anything they need from us to let me know, and God bless El Paso." And of course, you guys have been talking about it, just the flashbacks coming from what happened in 2019. My parents live in that area, and as soon as I got that alert from police, I reached out to my mom, and my mom even told me that she was about to go to Macy's today. So it's just, again, flashbacks coming up, checking on loved ones. And again, if you have a loved one that you're wanting to know where they're at, again, it's at Burgess High School in the gymnasium. That's where you'll go ahead, and the reunification center has been set up there. But I feel the flashbacks and everything, along with everyone tonight, living in that area all my life, and once again, for this to happen at a Cielo Vista Mall, which of course, an area, and obviously you and I, Steph, we're from here. We frequent that our teenage years, childhood years, and everything. And you always want to feel safe at Cielo Vista Mall, but just with everything that happened in 2019, it's kind of hard to do that nowadays. Definitely.
100%, Adrian. I've lived in that area now for the last 2 to 3 years, and the fountains is where I go to get my prescriptions. I get stuff from the mall all the time. I walk around Ponder Park. So yes, that is definitely, and that Walmart is the Walmart that I go to.
Yeah, same.
I actually was talking with my son. We went to the Ponder Park Memorial that they have there for the Walmart shooting victims, and we talked about why the ribbons are there. So this is just such an emotional, everything is coming back, emotional echoes of what we experienced back in 2019. It's just very unfortunate because that is such a gathering place that does have a lot of memories, because that was always the hangout place that you go to as you're growing up, and that continues throughout generations, and it's just heartbreaking to know that something like this has happened in this area once again, and at Cielo Vista Mall. We did get some more information, confirmed from University Medical Center that the 2 victims that they are treating who are in critical condition are men. So we do now understand that 2 of the 4 people who were confirmed to be involved in this, again, 4 people were shot, 1 died, 2 were taken to University Medical Center. We now know from University Medical Center that those 2 victims are men. We got from El Paso Police that those 2 men are in critical condition, that they were shot, but El Paso Police could not tell us what kind of weapon was used. They did say a weapon was recovered. They do have 1 suspect in custody, and they are continuing to look for another suspect. And as you can see, all of the police presence that remains at Cielo Vista Mall, thankfully, we can see that the parking lot is starting to clear out of regular passenger vehicles as people are allowed to leave the mall. But again, that last check from El Paso Police, they were slowly and methodically clearing the mall as they were trying to find what they believe was a second shooter who was involved. Again, we heard from a witness inside the mall that they heard something. They were upstairs at Spencer's. They heard shots popping off inside the mall. And this, again, from police, happened around 5:10, about 10 after 5 this evening. So, again, still continuing to be an active scene at Cielo Vista Mall. And they're also asking people to go to Burgess High School. And we want to reiterate that because a lot of people tend to want to flock to the scene because they want to know what's going on. But El Paso police are diverting media to the library, and they're diverting families to Burgess High School so they can continue to clear out Cielo Vista area and continue their investigation. And want to get to Rachel Phillips. She is at University Medical Center, where we understand they took 2 people with those gunshot wounds. Rachel, what can you tell us?
Yes, Stephanie, I just got off the phone with the spokesperson for UMC. They told me, as we know, that 2 victims were brought here to UMC. Now, I am told by that spokesperson that both of those people are male. They couldn't tell me their age. They also couldn't tell me their race or any other identifying factors, but we do know that both of those 2 victims who are here at UMC are male. Now, I asked about that 3rd victim that we have heard about, and I was told by that spokesperson that they are definitely not here. As to which hospital they are at, I cannot tell you that, but I do know that that 3rd victim is not here at UMC. I do just want to give you a look at the scene here. It just compared to those images we're seeing from Cielo Vista Mall, just a drastically different scene. It's obviously very quiet here at the emergency room. I did ask the university spokesperson from UMC at what time did those victims arrive, and they weren't able to tell me that at this time. They are working to get me that information, and when we have that, we of course will let you know. But as of right now, a very calm situation out here, but we do know that 2 victims are inside being worked on by medical professionals inside UMC. Both of those victims from the shooting are in critical condition, and as I told you, they are both male. That is the newest details we are learning here on the scene at UMC, but of course, as we learn new information, we of course will bring it to you. But guys, for now, back to you.
All right, Rachel, thank you. And Representative Veronica Escobar tweeting some more tonight as well, saying that I am, quote, "I'm staying in close contact with local officials who are dealing with a shooting in the same area where 23 lives were taken by a mass shooting 3.5 years ago. No community deserves multiple incidents of gun violence." Of course, I would say no community deserves it, period.
Right.
But she's speaking to the fact that this is a second time in the span of 3.5 years that this community is having to go through something like this. And again, I say that, but it is also important. We don't know the motive in this case at this time. El Paso police did not share any type of motive. They were asked directly if this was a targeted attack or if this was something random or if there was some type of dispute that started what ultimately ended up being shots fired. We don't know. Obviously, this scenario that played out on August 3rd, 2019, we have a very clear picture of what that was motivated by, and that it was there were federal hate crimes that were levied against the suspected shooter, or the shooter, I should say, in that case. So we don't want to tie this to that and say that it's the same thing. But what you see on your screen and the police response and the fact that there was a shooting inside the mall at a very busy time, one person we can confirm was killed, 3 more transported to local hospitals, at least 2 of them. We know that the two of the 3 transported to University Medical Center and listed in critical condition. That alone makes people feel what Veronica Escobar is getting at here with no community deserves multiple incidents of gun violence.
And it's unfortunate that we were hearing those stories even out of Michigan, Michigan State University, and the shooting that happened there just days ago. And we were hearing stories of students who were sheltering who had been affected by prior shootings in Michigan. Again, it's just
Sandy Hook.
And Sandy Hook as well. So it's one of those situations where I think any time something like this happens, because you had mentioned earlier the situation that happened at Cielo Vista Mall that turned out not to be a shooting at all. It was just a lot of chaos that was happening in the mall due to a YouTube celebrity showing up to the mall. It still induces the same type of trauma response that we are experiencing. We have Sam, who is standing by. I don't know if we wanted to go to Sam right now, but he was getting ready to give us a little bit more information. If he's ready, can you let me know?
Stephanie,
yes?
do you hear me?
Okay, let's go to Sam.
Hi, Stephanie. I want to show you what's going on now. They have just started to let people leave right off of Hawkins here. Slowly, they have started to, the line has started to empty. We've seen about 6 or 7 cars over the last 2 minutes leave, but this line of cars that stretches all the way to the other side of the mall has been stagnant for the last hour and a half since my photographer and I have been here, but they are just now letting people leave who have been here waiting as that investigation continues to keep going. But slowly but surely, some of the people who have been waiting, who have evacuated the mall, are now just being allowed to leave by first responders and El Paso police. Stephanie.
Okay, that's some good news that they're allowing people to leave. Again, police are clearing out the people who were at the mall, including employees and people who were shopping at the mall, because they were continuing to try to find someone else that they believe was involved in the shooting. Again, they have one person in custody, and they had told us that while it was an active investigation, there were no active shooters. And unfortunately, what we've learned about that language is that means there is not active gunfire happening in the mall. But unfortunately, they are still looking for one other person who is involved. And we also have Sarah Correa, who is standing by. She's been at the Family Reunification Center, which is set up at Burgess in the large gym. Sarah.
Yeah, Stephanie, I'm here at the reunification site. If you can look behind me, you can see it's really starting to pick up here. There's a lot of police presence here. That parking lot when we arrived was pretty empty, and now it's packed, it's full. There's cars lining all along the side of the entrance of the parking lot. Again, families are coming here to meet and reunite with loved ones that, you know, they got separated from during the active scene at Cielo Vista Mall. You can see just right there at the entrance, all the families waiting to get inside. Ambulances are here. We saw someone taking a stretcher. We don't know exactly what's happening in there, but again, families are coming here and meeting with the loved ones they were separated from inside the gymnasium. And again, it's really starting to pick up here. It seems a lot of people are now making their way here. Hopefully we'll get to talk to some of them about their encounters. But again, people are coming here to meet up with their loved ones that they got separated from at the mall. Of course, we'll continue to be here and let you know of any updates. Back to you guys.
Okay, Sarah, obviously a really emotional scene there as so many people, unfortunately, we're so used to hearing about shooting situations happening in public places and family members who knew that a family member went to the mall, or they have a family member who works at the mall, and they're just trying to find out what's going on with their family member. Until we got information from University Medical Center that Rachel relayed earlier, we didn't even know the gender of the people who had been taken to the hospital. So we now know 2 males were taken to University Medical Center in critical condition. That information, their gender is coming from UMC, but that 2 people were taken to UMC, confirmed by El Paso police. And we're getting, we also got confirmation that Providence didn't get any of the patients, but we know that Del Sol Medical Center is very close. We are working to confirm whether they had a patient taken to Del Sol. And also, Del Sol is a level 2 trauma, and a lot of patients went there as well on August 3rd because of its proximity to the mall, and also because of their level of care that they can provide.
And what you're seeing on the right side of your screen right now is a live picture of Cielo Vista Mall, the area that is blocked off right now. You cannot come and go at the Cielo Vista Mall area. The lower portion of that picture right now where you see those brake lights and those vehicles, they have been stagnant for quite some time now as police are beginning this investigation and trying to determine car by car who can be released and moved out. That's what we saw a moment ago in the live picture with Sam Harris-Simowitz in his location near Hawkins. That is where people were being allowed to move on, and they had been stuck there for a better part of an hour, if not more. But at this point, you can see there is very little movement to those cars there as they are all waiting one by one to be able to get an official release as well from the area. But if you're just joining us, 1 person killed, 3 people shot and transported to local hospitals, 2 of them to University Medical Center. Both men and enlisted in critical condition. The other one at another local hospital at this time. The 911 calls came out at about 5:10 this afternoon. Several of them of shots fired and possible active shooter. That is what El Paso Police emergency 911 dispatch received at approximately 5:10 this afternoon. And again, 1 person they confirmed is dead. and 3 more have been shot and transported to local hospitals. 1 person in custody, and police say that 1 person, they believe there could still be 1 more outstanding right now, and we are expecting an update from police within the hour, within about 35 minutes or so from now. They're saying about 8 o'clock. But in the meantime, let's send things back over to Adrian Ochoa here in our studio, who's continuing to monitor other reaction coming in.
Yeah, Eric, specifically here on Twitter, El Paso trending. Of course, for all the wrong reasons that we do not want to be trending, but El Paso is trending nationally right now. Governor Greg Abbott sharing a tweet. I know, Eric, you mentioned it when he came down, but just want to go ahead and show this again from Governor Greg Abbott saying, quote, that I spoke to Mayor Leeser about the shooting tonight in El Paso. I offered the full support of the state of Texas, including the assistance of the Texas Department of Public Safety and Texas Division of Emergency Management to help the city of El Paso respond to this tragic event. He goes on to say, thank you to all law enforcement and first responders who quickly went into action to protect their fellow Texans. And of course, we all recall in 2019, Governor Greg Abbott actually came to El Paso and was here for the memorial that the city held at Southwest University Park. If you remember, Governor Greg Abbott was here for that. DeMargo, former Mayor DeMargo, he was the mayor at the time in 2019, hasn't posted a statement just yet, but he has been retweeting. Eric, he actually retweeted you of your update on the information at the time, and also was retweeting from the El Paso Police Department. But looking back at everything that DeMargo had to go through at the time, just how it affected him as well. He was the mayor at the time back in 2019. So you can just imagine, I can't imagine what Mayor Margo, former Mayor Margo is going through right now, just again with the flashbacks of the incident over at Cielo Vista Mall. I want to go ahead and just again mention, if you had a nighttime class at EPCC, those classes are canceled at the Valle Verde campus and at the Academic Services Center. The Academic Services Center is just right around the corner from that mall there on Viscount. So if you had any business there or the Valle Verde campus, classes are canceled for tonight. So just a heads up if you had a nighttime class at EPCC. Eric and Steph, we'll send things back to you.
All right, Adrian, thank you. There's more reaction coming in as well from State Senator Cesar Blanco, who had a series of 3 tweets here just within the last couple of minutes saying, I'm disappointed to hear about the shooting that took place in Cielo Vista Mall this evening in a community that has been tragically struck by gun violence. Today's events open unhealed wounds. Praying for the deceased victim and those injured. He thanks all law enforcement officers and first responders for quickly responding to the scene, and says that he's in close contact with the city, state officials, and the Department of Public Safety, as well as the Texas Department of Emergency Management. And of course, I think it's also bring him up as well, because they are just underway in a state legislative session. Mm-hmm. Representative Veronica Escobar has already, quote, tweeted Governor Abbott's tweet calling for change and pointing out the fact that they are in a legislative session right now. So, of course, the debate about gun measures, gun control, is already taking shape in the wake of this, just in the first 2 hours after the fact, as it does every time.
Right.
But State Senator Cesar Blanco, of course, currently in a legislative session at the Texas legislature right now. So that is something, of course, not right for this very moment, but in the days and weeks to come, as that legislative session continues, it'll be interesting to see where the conversation goes on the heels of this.
Right, especially because this is also the first legislative session that we're having since the Uvalde shooting that happened in May. So again, this is a time where we have seen some legislators from across the state, especially those who represent the Uvalde area, bring forth legislation for change. But again, this is something that is happening a lot. We talk about El Paso's mass shooting that happened in August of 2019, but as we know, Texas has experienced many since then. So again, this is on the minds of lawmakers and unfortunately also the people who have been affected directly by these types of incidents that continue to occur. We are rifling through we're continuing to shuffle through the camera shots that we have here. This looks like the reunification center at Burgess. And people are being dropped off there. El Paso police had said that they were unsure how those people were going to be getting from the mall to the reunification center, whether they'd be allowed to take their vehicles. So it looks as though some people are being dropped off at the mall. I just want to point out, someone had been messaging me. They had someone who was close to them who had a daughter working at the mall, and they were reunified. So it's, again, those moments that you're just, waiting with bated breath and your heart's in your throat and you're just trying to figure out what is going on with your family member as the crowd continues to grow outside of the large gym at Burgess High School, as people are just trying to get their hands on their loved ones tonight, as we continue to wait for more information to come out about what exactly happened inside Cielo Vista Mall. Again, just what we know at this point, it was about 2.5 hours ago when police got word that there was an possible active shooter at Cielo Vista Mall. We understand that 4 people were shot, 1 person died, and 3 people were hospitalized, 2 with critical condition. University Medical Center confirming that those 2 that they are treating are males. Getting from multiple sources, including the El Paso Matters, reporting that someone at Del Sol, a security guard, told their crew that they were on lockdown. So that Del Sol is the closest hospital to Cielo Vista Mall, and it's also a level 2 trauma center. So we have been trying to confirm where this 3rd patient went. So we're getting from El Paso Matters that that person is likely at Del Sol, which is really maybe a mile or so down from Cielo Vista Mall.
It is the closest geographically speaking to that area, but of course you have the difference between level 2 and level 1 trauma center. University Medical Center being the only level 1 trauma center, and that is where the 2 men were taking, the victims who are listed in critical condition. That reunification center picture that we saw just a moment ago, that's a stark contrast. There it is right there on your screen. It's a stark contrast from what we saw just within the last 10-15 minutes. Really all we had seen were El Paso police officers and some law enforcement in that area. But now as these busloads of people via Sun Metro get dropped off, we're now starting to see the crowds of people there who, you know, reading body language, you can tell people have been through a lot. It's been a long couple of hours now, and people are trying to get back in the grasp of their loved ones. And at this point in time, police have confirmed that 1 person was shot and killed, 3 others were shot and transported to local hospitals. The calls coming in at around 5:10 this afternoon to 911 dispatch, multiple calls of shots fired and a possible active shooter situation. El Paso police say they have 1 person in custody, and they are looking for a possible other person outstanding at this time. That was as of their first update of the night so far, their only update of the night so far from Sergeant Robert Gomez. That happened just around 6:30 this evening, about an hour ago. We are expecting another update from police, barring any changes, at about 8 o'clock this evening, as the massive police presence continues in and around Cielo Vista Mall. And that's what you're looking at there. In the moment before that, what you saw was the Reunification Center, which is at Burgess High School, 7800 Edgemere. That is where you need to go if you're looking to get back in touch and connected with your friends or family, your loved ones that you have been separated from at this time. It is at Burgess High School at the main gym. You can see there it's Building H, Door H5 on the description there. As we zoom this out a little bit, we'll get a sense of what the area looks like, but there is a heavy law enforcement presence there as well outside of the gym in that area. And here's a look at those buses that are coming in right now from Sun Metro. And I believe as this goes by, we'll see if this one is still full or if it's already dropped off people, but they're taking people presumably from the Cielo Vista Mall area as they're cleared to be able to go to the Reunification Center. And now that the lights changed a little bit, you can see just how full the bus is. That is a busload full of people that are being dropped off at the Reunification Center. So if you have a car parked in the Cielo Vista Mall area, I'm guessing you're not going to be able to get to that at least anytime in the near future. And so you're going to be transported here to the Burgess High School main gym, where you will ultimately be able to reunify with friends and family in that area to eventually get home. And once we get the clear from police, of course, as to when you could be able to go back to the area of the Cielo Vista Mall area and get back, if your vehicle is parked in that area and you were inside the store at the time and you can't get to your vehicle right now, it may take some time as this is considered, the entire Cielo Vista Mall area is considered an active crime scene at this time, and it is all taped off, cordoned off, and not a place that you can come and go at this time.
And again, that area is continuing to be cordoned off. So I would just advise everybody to avoid that area, because you could see that the Family Reunification Center is starting to get filled with people. So you can imagine how traffic in that area is tonight. So if that is not part of your commute, or if you don't need to be in that area around Cielo Vista Mall, you may want to avoid it for the time being. Hawkins, Viscount, Sunmount. We even know that Sun Metro had diverted buses away from that area. There's a bus station there. And also the Walmart, the Sam's in that area, as they continue their investigation. We're waiting for police to give us an update. We understand that they had said maybe about 30 minutes ago that they were hoping to have an update in an hour. So hopefully around 8 o'clock, we hope to get more confirmed information from El Paso Police. The last word we got from them, it was too early for them to say any more information about who was involved, why this happened, the age, or any identifying statistics on the shooter they had in custody and the 3 people who were injured and the person who was killed, and even the weapon that was used, though we know that a weapon was recovered. We also hope to get more information about their search for a possible second shooter. As they continue their investigation, we will continue to bring you the confirmed information that we are getting. So again, this is just an ongoing situation that we see here as police are continuing to clear the mall. And imagine, if you've been in Cielo Vista Mall, how large it is and how many people were there, because this is after school, this is dinner time, and it's during the week, and people were at the mall. They're trying to make sure that they are going methodically through the mall to clear it, to make sure that they can get people out who don't have to be there and find the people who they are trying to talk to who witnessed what happened.
Multiple law enforcement agencies responding, according to El Paso Police. Of course, we can see lots of El Paso Police squad cars there. I believe I just saw a Border Patrol vehicle drive by as well. It looks like there's a Border Patrol pickup truck that might even be there as well. We've also confirmed that the FBI has responded. We've seen Texas Department of Public Safety. We're also just getting some new video into our newsroom right now, so I want to play that for you, courtesy of the FitFam El Paso. It shows police on top of someone inside. So you guys can pull that video up for us. Let's take a look inside the Cielo Vista Mall at this video that we have verified has come from inside the mall, courtesy of FitFam El Paso. And it shows the store door, the guard doors are down. And you can see it looks like there's someone being pinned down just against the wall there with one El Paso police officer there in that area. And you can tell it does look like it's on the second floor there. Right by the jewelry store, and there is someone down on the ground there with police on top. And of course, as part of a shelter in place, it appears as though the people inside this store put the gates down in that store to try and prevent anyone from possibly getting in when they, presumably these shots were heard, which we heard from a witness just earlier, speaking to Sarah Correa outside the Reunification Center, who saw, he said, the barrel of a gun. He heard the noises, the pops at first that he thought were pops of balloons. Right. And then, of course, realized quickly when he saw that barrel of a gun that it was something much different.
And that video, it's taken from, the perspective is shooting towards where the Hellsberg Diamonds was, like you mentioned, and that area was Spencer's, which is where the person we spoke to said he was.
He was in that store at the time.
Correct. And so the Hellsberg is close to the main entrance of Cielo Vista Mall on the upstairs, which is by the Sears. So that area, which is why we saw such a heavy police presence on that side. It's also on the same area, in the same area as the food court, which is why we had initially heard that the shooting happened in the food court. So again, this is what we're seeing and what we can confirm and what we're trying to piece together with the confirmed information that we have of what happened there at Cielo Vista Mall. Obviously a very scary situation for the people who witnessed it, who heard it, who are seeing it, and who are trying to find their family members and get reunified with their family members. I was able to confirm just minutes ago that one patient was taken to Del Sol. So we now know we can account for 2 people taken to UMC in critical condition, and 1 patient was taken to Del Sol. Cannot confirm at this point the person, the gender of the person who was taken to Del Sol. We know 2 people taken to UMC were male. These are people that we're seeing live now getting off the bus from Sun Metro from Cielo Vista Mall being taken to the family reunification center. A lot of families that you see, a lot of kids, just a lot of people who were, at the mall, doing what people do when they go to the mall, just trying to, go shopping or get some dinner real quick before you have to head home for the evening. So obviously just a really sad situation that you're seeing right here as people are getting to Burgess and trying to get back home tonight after this ordeal that's happening at Cielo Vista Mall right now.
I want to give you a warning. We've got more video that just came into our newsroom. There will be, okay, it's not ready just yet. I was given information that it was, so not just yet, but I'll give you the warning now for when we play the video. It does have the sound of gunshots. It will show people running, and you can see law enforcement coming in. So I do want to warn you, particularly for the sound of gunshots. You're not going to see anything, by what I'm understanding, anything graphic. Of course, we're screening that before we show it, but it does have that sound, and that alone can certainly impact people in a very difficult way. So
right.
That is a warning for a video that we are working on at this moment that we're going to show you here in a matter of moments.
In the meantime, we want to get to Adrian Ochoa, who has been monitoring social media, giving us updates from confirmed sources on what pertains to this situation. Adrian.
Yes, Stephanie. This one was really interesting. That came down just 13 minutes ago. It's from the El Paso Office of Emergency Management. It says, quote here, "We appreciate all the support our community shows our first responders and the people that were at Cielo Vista Mall. However, we kindly ask to refrain from bringing donations to Cielo Vista Mall or Burgess High School as the area needs to be cleared of as much traffic as possible." So you already see El Pasoans stepping up here to help those people who are at that reunification center, and also the people who had their vehicles, who can't get to their vehicles at the mall. They're just there at possibly Burgess right now, and I'm assuming people were going to Burgess High School to send in donations and everything, but El Paso Office Management wants you to hold off on that right now because that area does need to be cleared as much as possible because of the traffic in the area. Again, want to mention here, if you're planning, you need to take the bus, Sun Metro, that bus station in that Viscount area near behind the Hooters behind the Walmart that's there. Just a reminder that bus terminal is completely closed off right now because of the ongoing investigation. So the bus stops will be made at Ponder Park, which is right across the street, across from Viscount. So that's where you'll be dropped off. I'm assuming that's also where you'll be picked up, as well as that bus terminal at Sun Metro is completely shut off. But again, we'll continue monitoring any new information I'll have coming through social media. Again, just important to note here, if you're on social media, Twitter, Instagram, just make sure you the sources of where you're getting your information, whether it's us here at ABC7 or if it's at another local station. Just be careful that you're not getting your information from somebody who's leaving a comment who doesn't have a source to it. Again, we're either from us or also from the El Paso Police Department. They've been active on Twitter, or from the city Twitter's account as well, El Paso City. They've also been tweeting as well. So make sure you follow along those accounts and not just someone who's commenting on a story or who's tweeting from and no source whatsoever. So just something to keep in mind as we continue to learn more of this incident over at Cielo Vista Mall.
All right, Adrian, thanks for the update. And also, we want to get to Sam Harasimowicz. He is going to be able to speak with people who were inside the mall at the time of the shooting. Sam, let's hear from them.
Hi, Stephanie. I'm joined by two people who were inside the mall. Can you tell me, what was your first reaction when everything started happening?
Well, we were eating, and we heard them arguing, and then we heard shots fired, and we just ran into the bathroom.
How long were you guys inside that bathroom?
Like 3 hours. It was long. I was scared.
She's 7 months pregnant, so
I was gonna give birth.
Yeah, I was ready.
And what did law enforcement ever come in contact with you guys while you were inside?
The FBI did. Yeah. They asked if everybody was okay, and then they moved us to the van store, and then we were in there for about an hour, and then that's when they released us.
And you told me off camera that you guys are still stuck here because your car is still parked?
Our car is parked on the food court side where it happened, and they're not letting anybody get their cars.
Are you guys going to have anyone pick you up, or what are you guys going to do from here?
They told us that we had to wait.
My car.
Do they expect to speak to you as well?
Yeah, they said they would call us back. So they took our information and said that an officer should be in contact with us soon.
What was going through both of your minds when you heard those shots being fired?
PTSD, depression, anxiety. I was just really scared. I wanted to be with my family, my boyfriend.
Have you spoken to them? Have you been on the phone with them?
Yeah, my boyfriend's on the phone right now.
I called my dad and my mom and my sister, so they knew I was okay.
And what were they telling? What were they asking? Were they asking you? How were they keeping updated with you?
They were just asking if everything was okay, that they heard that there was an active shooter. We were told to be quiet because it was still active. Like, one of the shooters ran off, so they didn't know what he was going to do. But I know that it was a fight between two kids.
And were you guys? Were there other people joining you in that bathroom that you guys wanted?
Yeah, there was like maybe 50 of us crammed in there.
So you both are just gonna have to wait it out for now.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Anything else?
No.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Stephanie, Eric, those were two people who I spoke to who they say were in there for hours, barricaded inside of a bathroom.
That is so scary, and like one of them mentioned, she's 7 months pregnant. Definitely a terrifying situation to witness. You hear an argument at a table, and then all of a sudden that happens, that they had the wherewithal to run into a restroom, but then have to hide there for so long. It's such a scary situation, something that no one should have to experience as they were eating at the food court and just trying to enjoy their day, just like every other person who was at the mall. Just trying to go on about their day.
It's that innocence that's taken away. And now people have to live with what they may have heard, felt, seen in these moments, and that sense of security and comfort that may be taken away, if not at least for the time being, potentially forever for some.
Right. I mean, we talked earlier about how it took a long time for people to feel safe going to stores and certain places after the shooting that happened here on August 3rd, to only have something like this happen again in a public area where people should feel safe. And unfortunately, something like this happens, and we still don't know why. And we're still trying to figure that out, and we're working to get that information. And El Paso police are saying at the top of the hour, hopefully we will have more answers as to what happened. But in the meantime, we want to get to Rachel Phillips. She is at University Medical Center. And Rachel, what can you tell us?
Good evening, Stephanie. Well, we're still here at UMC, and we just received a statement here from the University Medical Center. A lot of this information we did already know, but I do just want to read it to you word for word just to keep you up to date with all of the information we are gathering right now. They say at approximately 5:40 p.m. today, University Medical Center of El Paso's Level 1 Trauma Center received 2 victims of a shooting that took place today at Cielo Vista Mall. Both patients are in critical condition and being treated for their injuries. Both patients are males. The 2 patients are being cared for by UMC trauma medical staff as well as physicians from Texas Tech Physicians of El Paso. Additional information will be released as it becomes available. Now, like I said, they arrived here at 5:40 p.m. after that shooting, and as I'm being told, they are being treated for the injuries and getting care from surgeons as we speak right now. I asked how many gun wound shots they had, what their type of injuries were, what their race was, what their age was, and at the moment this is all the information they can give us, is that they are being treated right now by medical staff. There are 2 males, both in critical condition, being treated here at UMC. I just want to step out. We've been seeing those images of Cielo Vista Mall and just how crazy things are there with the amount of law enforcement, and here things are a lot calmer. There are still a lot of police cars in the area, but none with their sirens on. We are obviously, of course, seeing patients arrive here through the ambulance entrance. That can be from a multitude of things that are going around the city as what normally happens on a normal night. But we do see patients arriving. We do see people coming to check on their patients, whether they are here for the shooting victims or just here for other patients. But just wanted to give you a look at that scene. But like I said, 2 victims here at UMC. Both are males in critical condition, currently being treated by surgeons here at UMC. But for now, guys, back to you.
Okay, Rachel, thank you.
If you're just joining us just around 5:10 this afternoon, El Paso police report that 911 dispatch received multiple 911 calls of shots fired, possible active shooter. They've confirmed that one person was killed, 3 others shot and transported to local hospitals. 2 of them, where you just saw at University Medical Center, listed in critical condition, both men. And at this point, 1 person is in custody and another person could still be outstanding. That was what police had told us back around 6:30 this evening. We are expecting another update from police within about 10 minutes or so.
And at this point, we do know that, again, 2 men. We know 1 person was taken to Del Sol Medical Center. We know 1 person has died. We don't have any more identifying information. We're still working to learn a motive. But we are getting some visuals, and we're hearing the stories from people who were inside the mall as they are being allowed to leave the mall from El Paso police. And we're seeing people go to the reunification center to meet with their families. And we do want to show you some video that we are getting from the scene. And we want to warn you, we're not going to see anything that is incredibly violent, but we are going to hear gunshots. And we know how triggering that can be for people. And how we just want to warn you that that's what we're going to be showing you. So if you don't want to see it, then you can go ahead and mute your television for the moment.
But let's, now that we've given you a moment, let's take a listen and a look at the video that we're just getting into our newsroom. So in that video, of course, you can hear the 2 gunshots in this clip of the video. And then you see the heavy law enforcement presence with the long guns out, the tactical gear, and eventually you see a stretcher there. And it's still, you can see the body language of the law enforcement still very much on high alert as they're running out. And initially, before those 2 shots, which you hear there, people running in the other direction.
So that bar that we're seeing is on the downstairs close to the kiddie area, which is in that open area right above the food court, where we're hearing that the shooting occurred likely near the Spencer's area, near the food court. So all of this very close, and you can tell, again, going back to the body language, the people who were running had already heard something at the time the video began. They were running in the opposite direction, running towards the opposite end of the mall. As we see police and other law enforcement agencies, we're hearing multiple from not just police, but we're hearing FBI on the scene, Border Patrol on the scene, DPS. I was also hearing that even some law enforcement agencies from New Mexico reported to the scene. So again, it's just a lot of things that were, a lot of people who responded to the scene so swiftly, unfortunately because they've gone through the training, because they had to, because of what we have seen happen in that same area 3.5 years ago.
ABC7's Sarah Correa has been reporting lately outside of the Reunification Center at Burgess High School, or the main gym there at 7800 Edgemere. She joins us live once again with more people who experienced this in some way. Sarah, who are you joined by, and what can they tell us?
Yes, so I'm here with Rafael and his family member. He says he works at the Journeys and he was there during the shooting. So can you tell us a little bit about what you heard?
Well, first I was helping out a customer, and all of a sudden I just see people running to the opposite direction because it happened at the food court. And you know, I was helping, like I said, I was helping out this family member, and I tried bringing them in, but they started running out. And you know, I pray for them, hope they're okay. But we brought in a handful of customers into the stock room, and you know, we closed the gate. We were there for like a good hour and a half, and I did hear a couple of gunshots as well.
Can you tell me what went through your mind when you heard those gunshots?
It was just pure terrifying. I didn't know what to do. This is my first experience experiencing this. But no, other than that, I was just staying calm, and I was making sure everyone's okay, and that's all that matters right now.
And I'm sure a lot of panic from everyone involved. You were brought here on the bus. Can you tell me what it was like on the bus right here?
A lot of kids crying, and moms just protecting them. a lot of the officers needed the moms and the kids, of course, to go on the bus because it was cold, especially for the little toddlers. They were crying, and that's just all I experienced right now.
And you're here with your father. What went through your mind as you were coming here to pick your son up?
Just hoping he was okay. That's all.
I'm sure very emotional, very hard thing to experience. I'm glad you two were able to reunite and that you guys are safe tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, families continue to reunite here, and we're continuing to talk to them about their experience. We'll be sure to bring you more information and more stories as we speak to people here. Back to you guys.
Right, Sarah, thank you. We have been in contact with County Judge. Okay. Well, we've been in contact with County Judge Ricardo Samaniego. We were hoping to hear from him, but in the meantime, we are hopefully, if everything is according to schedule, about 5 or so minutes away from El Paso Police giving us another update on this investigation that's happening at Cielo Vista Mall. Again, just want to, in case someone is just joining us, or if you're just joining us, around 10 after 5 this evening, police were called out to Cielo Vista Mall regarding a possible active shooter. What we're hearing from witnesses on the scene is that someone opened fire inside the food court area, which is on the 2nd floor of Cielo Vista Mall. We understand from El Paso Police that 4 people were shot, 1 person died, 3 people were wounded and taken to various hospitals. UMC confirmed 2 men were taken to University Medical Center. Police told us in critical condition. And we also understand, getting confirmation that 1 person was taken to Del Sol Medical Center. Their condition unclear at this time. Police also said that they had 1 shooter in custody. They recovered a weapon, and they were, at the time we got this information, which was about an hour and a half or so ago, they were looking for a possible second shooter, and that they were going through the mall methodically, as we saw in that video. They were going through the mall to clear every single store and identify witnesses and make sure that they were getting people out of the mall who did not need to be there, and get information from the people who saw or heard what happened.
And I think hearing what happened makes it that much more real for everyone. Obviously, people who were there, who witnessed it, who heard it, it's one thing. It's another thing for people to be sitting at home watching what's going on right now, to hear it, and to hear it happening again. We don't know the motive. We don't know the circumstances as to why it happened, or if it was an argument that started and then a disagreement, or if it was more random, targeted. Police have not clarified any of that at this point. They are not speaking about a motive at this time. We are expecting an update in the next 4 or 5 minutes, potentially at the top of the hour from police, but at this time we don't know the answer to that at this early stage in the investigation. In the meantime, let's send it over to Adrian Ochoa live in the studio with more reaction that's coming in. Adrian, what are you seeing?
Yeah, it's just some more reaction tonight from borderland lawmakers. We want to take a look here at a comment from State Senator Cesar Blanco saying, quote, "I'm disappointed to hear about the shooting that took place in Cielo Vista Mall this evening in a community that has been tragically struck by gun violence. Today's events open unhealed wounds. Praying for the deceased victim and those injured. Thank you to all law enforcement officers and first responders who quickly responded to the scene and are working to keep our community safe. We're in close contact with city, state officials, Department of Public Safety, and Texas Department of Emergency Management to ensure state resources and assistance is available in the response and aftermath." And then we also had a reaction earlier tonight from Las Cruces Mayor Ken Miyagishima. He had just gotten home when he turned on his TV and saw everything that was going on. It's saying, quote, "I'm sorry to hear about this shooting. I texted Mayor Oscar Leeser and let him know the city of Las Cruces is praying for El Paso and anything they need from us to let me know. God bless El Paso." And when you see the video that we just saw of where we heard the shots fired, I can just imagine the flashbacks going to 2019 when we saw those videos, hearing the gunfire inside that Walmart. And interesting, the Sam interview that he did with those 2 young ladies, talking how they went to the bathroom. Well, if you know the layout to the mall, it's to that food court in particular, you have those openings where you can see downstairs. And on each side of those openings are tables where, you know, outside the restaurants, the McDonald's, the Subway, the Chick-fil-A that's there. So you can go and sit down right there. And they said that they went to a restroom that was nearby, and that restroom's actually located near the entrance to the Dillards. So I mean, a perfect hiding spot for them to go, because that thing is just right. That entrance to that restroom is right at the corner of the entrance to the Dillards. That's right in front of that food court. So when you hear these stories coming out, just a frame of reference for you as to how that looks, in case you're not familiar with the layout of Cielo Vista Mall, particularly the food court. But yeah, for now, we'll send things over back to you, Eric and Stephanie.
And now we are getting confirmation that that third shooting victim is being treated at Del Sol Medical Center, and the patient is in fair condition. That is all the information we're getting in regards to the third. The other two are at University Medical Center, a level 1 trauma center. They were listed, both men, listed in critical condition. The third victim at Del Sol Medical Center is in fair condition. It just says the patient. It does not specify male or female, so we don't have that information at this time, but fair condition at Del Sol Medical Center.
All of this information is continuing to come in. And again, police did not have the information, couldn't even tell us if the suspect was a man or a woman that they had in custody. It's 8 o'clock, so we're hoping that police are preparing to give our reporters an update. They had updated us about an hour and a half ago or so outside of the library on Viscount and Hawkins in that area. So again, we're hoping to get more information as we continue to see police presence outside of Cielo Vista Mall. It does appear as traffic in that area is returning to normal as we are entering 3 hours since police arrived on the scene and basically shut down everything in that area. This is a look at our Texas Department of Transportation cameras at I-10 and Hawkins, where you can see the flashing lights around Cielo Vista Mall as police continue to surround the entirety of Cielo Vista Mall. A lot of the videos we're getting from inside showing most of the activity happening around the food court area, which is in the northwest corner of Cielo Vista Mall. But of course, because there are so many entrances, the police and all law enforcement surrounded the area.
I just received a statement from Mayor Oscar Leeser, so I want to read it to you right now. I just received this a minute ago. Mayor Oscar Leeser says, quote, "As our community faced a shooting threat this evening, our emergency responders, law enforcement officers, as well as our agency partners responded immediately to the emergency situation. There is no current threat to our community." That's an important line there, as police say that they believe that there is one suspect outstanding. Again, there is no current threat to our community, according to Mayor Oscar Leeser. He goes on to say, "Those that sheltered in place are currently being moved to the reunification center to reunite with their families, and Cielo Vista Mall will remain an active crime scene. We will update the community later this evening and as we have more information." Again, that quote coming directly from Mayor Oscar Leeser, his office, from Mayor Oscar Leeser. And I think the most important thing out of that is he's saying that there is no current threat to our community, despite the fact that police say they believe they are still looking for one more outstanding suspect.
And also getting a statement from the Catholic Diocese, and a line that stood out to me, that they are praying for the victims, their families, and for an end to the culture of violence that plagues our society. So again, this is something that the Catholic Diocese wanted to put out tonight, that they were praying for everybody involved, and they're saddened by what happened, but the culture of violence that plagues our society, as this is something that El Paso's community is reliving in that same area from what happened 3.5 years ago, and unfortunately, which has been the top story of every national newscast for this week, is a mass shooting that has happened in different parts of the country. Again, we don't know the motive behind what happened. We're hoping to get more information from El Paso police as they are preparing to update reporters. They said that update would happen around 8 o'clock. So we're hoping to get more information about who was involved and whether they have more than one person in custody, and if they can give us more information on what led to the shooting that happened inside the mall. that forced the closure of Cielo Vista Mall. And as again, we're seeing police are continuing to release people from the mall, and they're taking them by bus to Burgess High School. I just want to show you the quote that I just read from the bishop, where he said, "We are deeply saddened and heartbroken by the tragic shooting that occurred today at the Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victim, their families, and all those affected by this senseless act of violence. We stand in solidarity with the entire community of El Paso during this difficult time and offer our support and prayers for healing and peace. We ask that everyone join us in praying for the victims, their families, and for an end to the culture of violence that plagues our society." So again, this is something that not just the people involved, but everybody who was at Cielo Vista Mall, and anyone who's watching us tonight or seeing this on social media, feeling that feeling when something in our community has happened that is so violent and so tragic and sudden to occur. So many people who have been affected, as we saw at the Burgess High School gym, as numerous families are continuing to show up to try to pick up a lot of them kids who worked at the mall. I was hearing from people who had, their sons and daughters who were working at the mall and taking their dinner break at the food court when all of this happened. So everyone trying to get their family members back home. And you can see, again, a lot of people arriving. Sen Metro, we saw earlier, busing people from Cielo Vista Mall to Burgess High School about a block or two away, and trying to get as many people out of there, but as methodically as they can to not interfere with their investigation.
And it is just a sobering sight to see all these family members and people going to another reunification center in El Paso after shots were fired in a very public location, a very busy area, ultimately ending in death. One person killed, 3 more wounded, transported to local hospitals, 2 in critical condition, 1 in fair condition. And our community is once again going through this type of pain. And 3.5 years ago, it was MacArthur Middle School, the reunification center. And tonight, here on February 15th of 2023, it is at Burgess High School. And you can see the arms around family members, moms and daughters, parents and children, linking arms. And they're the lucky ones. They're the ones who are getting that reunification. And at least at this point, we know that there is, at the very least, there's one person and one family out there that is not getting that tonight.
It's something that when I think back to August 3rd and how shocking that was to hear of how many people had lost a family member. So it's one of those moments where you're like, at least this wasn't as bad. And I don't like to say that, but it's something like we're not thankfully reliving the horrific tragedy to the magnitude that we were 3 years ago. But it is, again, a family that has lost someone, and 3 other families and their family members who are waiting at those hospitals to find out how their family member is doing. A senseless act of violence that happened in a public place. Something that unfortunately we have gotten all too familiar with before what happened on August 3rd, 2019, and throughout almost every single day until now. And again, this is something that we are just hoping to get more information from police about what exactly happened inside the mall that led to this shooting. But something that struck me that when you were talking about the families that we saw at Burgess as they're entering is so many of them were families. And we heard from a witness saying that he heard so many little kids on the bus as he was headed back to, or headed to Burgess from the mall, so many little toddlers crying and their mothers trying to comfort them. I mean, this is a place where people go to shop and they go to grab a quick bite to eat, or they're dropping off their kids or picking up their kids as they work at the mall. That area is bustling, as we've been talking about. Lots of restaurants and shops in that area. It's just such a tragic thing to happen to this community that had been recovering and trying to feel whole after so long, to have it's such a tragedy. And we were looking live at Burgess at the reunification centers. People continue to stream in as the buses continue to drop off people. So it is fortunate that El Paso police are able to expedite their clearing of the mall, and they're releasing people as they can. But they're also having to interview people about what they saw and heard, but at the same time, they have to do their part in the investigation and make sure that they get all the information they can before these people can go home. And it's just, I think about the young man we interviewed, and he was like, "This is my first time dealing with this," and you could see him living the trauma of what he experienced and what he heard. And that's what so many of those people are experiencing tonight.
Nobody should have to hear that sound, especially in that type of setting. The sound of gunshots in a mall when people are going about their business, going about their day, and trying to enjoy some time doing whatever it is that they were doing. And just trying to mind their own business, whether it be grab a meal at the food court, go and shop, maybe people spending some gift cards that they just got yesterday as a Valentine's Day gift. And to just go to the mall. You mentioned the early release within EPISD because of parent-teacher conferences, so maybe some people had some extra time today to do something that they don't typically have and be able to go. I think the other thing that's, really resonates and is telling and just brings me so much back to, and this is really more on the positive side of what happened 3.5 years ago, and I believe Adrian shared this a moment ago, the Office of Emergency Management tweet from 7:23 this evening, so a little less than an hour ago, saying, "We appreciate all the support our community shows our first responders and the people that were at Cielo Vista Mall. However, we kindly ask to refrain from bringing donations to Cielo Vista Mall or Burgess High School, as the area needs to be cleared of as much traffic as possible." That is El Pasoans reaching out to help out El Pasoans, and it's just in their good nature, in their heart, to stop what they're doing and go to a location to try and help.
Right.
And tonight, in this case, it's the Cielo Vista Mall and it's Burgess High School 3.5 years ago on a blazing hot day, 100+ degrees in the just brutal heat.
Yeah.
People lined up around the block at Vitalent to donate blood that day. And that is El Pasoans to a T to step up and try and help when they feel their community and their community members. Doesn't have to just be family and friends. It can just be the community members of El Paso who need help in that moment. And so with that said, Office of Emergency Management is asking you, please not do that. There may be a need for something of that nature at some point, but at this time, please don't go to the Cielo Vista Mall area under any circumstance, and please don't go to the reunification center unless you're going there to try and reunite with family and friends.
It just goes to show that when we feel most helpless, we try to do what we can to contribute in some way. This is a look now at the bus as people are being dropped off.
I'd say just look at the look on people's faces right here. I mean, we see a bus driver and we see 3 other people in just those few seconds.
That shock and
it's
exhaustion.
Just that look of emptiness.
Right. Trying to comprehend what they experienced.
Exhaustion.
And we have Adrian standing by. And Adrian, you have another update from the Office of Emergency Management.
Yeah, Eric, you just shared that tweet. They just sent out another tweet about 10 minutes ago that they're planning a news conference for 9 p.m. at the El Paso Regional Communications Center. City leaders will be present for that news conference, and we believe that Mayor Mario D'Agostino, the deputy city manager, will be speaking at that news conference, and that's pretty significant because Mario D'Agostino was the El Paso fire chief at the time back in 2019 during the Walmart shooting. So you can just imagine, again, the flashbacks from people who have ties back to 2019 to now 2023, another shooting in the same area as that Walmart shooting. But we are expecting a 9 p.m. news conference at the El Paso Regional Communications Center, 9 p.m. with city leaders, which we believe will include Deputy City Manager Mario D'Agostino, who in 2019 was the El Paso fire chief at the time, and now he is the El Paso Deputy City Manager. Of course, we'll be bringing that to you as well. Again, 9 p.m. at the Regional Communications Center.
Okay, Adrian, and I shared this statement that I received from El Paso Mayor Oscar Leeser just a moment ago. I want to bring it up full screen now so you can read along with me. as we've been able to put this together now for you to read together. This was sent to me by Mayor Oscar Leeser within the last 30 minutes or so. He says, quote, as our community faced a shooting threat this evening, our emergency responders, law enforcement officers, as well as our agency partners responded immediately to the emergency situation. He goes on to say there is no current threat to our community, and I think that is probably the most important line right now to take away in this moment. There is no current threat to our community. Those that sheltered in place are currently being moved to the reunification center to reunite with their families, which we've been seeing play out. And Cielo Vista Mall will be an active crime scene, will remain an active crime scene. We will update the community later this evening as we have more information, and that touches on what Adrian just talked about, that there is now a news conference. Hopefully, we're expecting around 9 o'clock tonight at the office of the Threadgill, where Adrian was just discussing. And so we had heard about possible update from police at 8, possible update from city officials a little bit later at night. So I think it sounds like they're condensing everything into one, gathering everybody together in one location to provide one clear, coherent update from not just law enforcement, but city leaders as well.
So we hope to get, like we had been saying, a clearer idea of what exactly happened at 9 o'clock from El Paso Police, as well as hearing from city officials. This is a live look now at Burgess High School, where people have been filtering in and filing in throughout the evening as they are being released from Cielo Vista Mall, and also people who are showing up to pick up their family members and loved ones and friends who were at Cielo Vista Mall when this shooting occurred. Just to recap, what we know is about 5:10 this afternoon at Cielo Vista Mall, police were called out regarding a possible active shooter. We've seen videos and also heard from eyewitnesses that there was some type of argument that transpired between people in the food court, and people heard multiple gunshots. We saw a video showing one person being restrained on the ground outside of what looked like the Hellsberg Diamonds and the Spencers on the second floor of Cielo Vista Mall, close to the main entrance of Cielo Vista Mall on the west side of the building. And police are telling us that one person was killed and 3 people were wounded. 2 men we got from University Medical Center. We understand 2 men were taken to University Medical Center with critical injuries, and 1 person we confirmed with Del Sol was taken to Del Sol in fair condition. We understand from El Paso Police that 1 person is in custody. At last update, which was well over an hour ago, they were looking for 1 more possible shooter, and they could not give us a description. And we tried to press for some type of information because they were looking for someone, but they could not give us any more information on who exactly they were looking for, but said that if they felt that it was pertinent to the community to release that information, they would. And we haven't gotten any more information from El Paso Police on who exactly they were looking for at this time, but they did say that it was no longer an active shooter situation at Cielo Vista Mall, and that they were slowly and methodically clearing the mall and finding people who witnessed what happened to talk to them to get information. So that's what we're seeing, and that's why we are continuing to see more people go to Burgess High School, because that's where they were setting people up and sending people as they were able to release them from the mall. And I'm joined now by Mark Ross. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And for stepping in. So again, this is an area that's familiar to you as well. So and you were here on August 3rd as well.
That's right. I was working back in the newsroom, of course, on August 3rd, and I've been in the newsroom tonight after I wrapped up ABC 7 at 4. Just happened to be in the newsroom when those first calls came in on the scanner that there was an incident going on at Cielo Vista Mall. And that's my old neighborhood. I went to Burgess High School, grew up in that area, so this is all very familiar to me. And, just another instance, a sad instance of another mass shooting in this country. And, we were showing just a couple of moments ago the video from, or actually our live shot from Burgess High School, as people who were at Cielo Vista Mall are now being brought over to Burgess High School to be reunited with their family members. Some, of course, as you mentioned, Stephanie, going to the Olive Garden there in the Cielo Vista parking lot where police were actually interviewing witnesses who were inside the mall at the time of the shooting.
Wow. Okay, so of course that entire footprint of Cielo Vista Mall remaining an active scene. As you can see, police remaining there throughout the evening as they are continuing their investigation, and the cars in the parking lot indicative of some people we've seen allowed to leave in their vehicles. Others are being bused to the reunification site at Burgess. So again, this is something that a lot of people, we saw a lot of kids, a lot of teenagers who work at the mall. It's a school night, and this is something that I imagine will be very difficult to unwind from tonight, and decompress after their experience. Because again, we saw the videos,
right,
and we could hear the shooting, and we could hear the shot or the gunshots, and it's just, it echoes throughout. So you can imagine how that must have affected so many people in the mall at that time.
And I know, listening to the scanners in the newsroom, the traffic we were hearing from El Paso police who were on the scene, that, if you're familiar with Cielo Vista Mall, there are service halls that run behind all of the businesses that are inside the mall. And they said that many of the people who were inside the mall, that was the first area they ran to. They would go to basically what are emergency exits in the mall.
Right.
And go through. And of course, police had to, as you say, methodically go through and look for people wherever they might be, whether they were barricaded in place inside stores or whether they happened to be in these service halls.
Right. There are so many places where people can go, and we actually heard from someone, two women who, or Sam Harris-Simowitz interviewed earlier, who were eating at the food court, heard an argument break out in that area, and once they heard the gunshots, they ran into the restroom in those service areas by the Dillards, and were hiding there for several hours. One of the women, 7 months pregnant. So this is just, again, that you can just imagine so many people fleeing after hearing this and running wherever they could to get shelter from whatever was happening that, just causes a mass chaos, because you hear it, but you're not going to give any time to figure out where it's coming from. You're just going to run. So we've seen so many videos where people are just running away, and it's terrifying to see. It was giving me chills seeing these people, because it's just such a traumatic event that no one should have to experience. This is a video that we got from FitFam. This is taken from inside a store that had rolled the gate down, and you can see that there's police restraining somebody close to, I think that's the Spencer's up there.
Yeah, that's the Spencer's Gifts that is up there on the upper level, that's closer to where Sears used to be.
Right.
And of course, we do not know at this time whether or not this was someone who was involved in the shooting incident, but they were taken into custody.
Right, because, police could not confirm more than that they had one person in custody. But we do understand that the shooting did happen in that area of the food court. And we also spoke to someone who was in the Spencer's who saw the barrel of a gun before they ran for cover. So, again, we will continue to await an update from El Paso Police as they have moved their news conference and their news update from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. But as we send things over to Adrian, I want to leave you with this look real quick of I-10 and Hawkins, where you can see the lights of JCPenney in the background and the police presence on both Gateway West and inside the parking lot around the Olive Garden and the JCPenney area continues to be present. And you can also see close to the intersection of Hawkins and Gateway, as well as in the distance, likely by where that Sunmount, where the bus station and the Hooters are, and the Walmart. So all of that area, Adrian, continues to have a heavy police presence.
Oh, yeah. So if you're headed out tonight, just avoid that area right now, the Cielo Vista area. Maybe take Montana, or just stay on the freeway. Don't even get off on the Gateway there if you're planning to go to that area. Just find an alternate route if you're headed to the Cielo Vista area. But around 9 o'clock, we want to go back here to what was tweeted out about an hour ago from the El Paso Office of Emergency Management. They're going to be holding a news conference at about 9 o'clock. That's when their city leaders will be there. And this is the retweet from the El Paso Police Department of that news conference that will be going on at 9 o'clock. But they also tweeted this out as well. As you can see here, it says, "We appreciate all the support our community shows our first responders and the people that were at Cielo Vista Mall. However, we kindly ask to refrain from bringing donations to Cielo Vista Mall or Burgess High School, as the area needs to be cleared of as much traffic as possible." You know, of course, El Pasoans are coming out in full force to donate to those people who are at that reunification center at the Burgess Gymnasium, especially those people who can't get to their cars. They can't go home right now because their cars are taped off right now within the parking lot. So they're there presumably at that reunification center at Burgess High School, or they're just wandering around the Ponder Park that's also right across the street from that area. So of course, El Pasoans coming out to support. This was an interesting tweet that I saw from Olivia Troy. She's the former security advisor for former Vice President Mike Pence. She's actually from El Paso. She still has family in El Paso. And I thought her tweet was interesting here, where she said, "My aunt is currently in hiding at Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso, Texas, as this active shooter scenario is still unfolding. She survived the 2019 Walmart El Paso shooting thanks to someone who pulled her to safety." So this is from her aunt, who was inside the Walmart shooting and was there today at the mall. We might be hearing similar stories moving forward from people who were at the mall today and possibly were in the area in 2019 when that Walmart shooting happened. So you can just imagine what they're going through, the flashbacks that they're going to, being so close to the situation. So you can just imagine what people are going through in both of those scenarios. Yeah.
Look at the tweet that follows that. She responded by saying that her aunt was able to get out of Cielo Vista Mall safely.
Right.
And, someone, a good Samaritan, stepped in to help get her to safety, which is a very wonderful thing to hear.
And also a chilling moment in that tweet, also because she said, just like at the Walmart, she was helped. So once again, this the same woman having to be helped by someone. And again, Adrian and Mark, you can attest to it as well. We were all talking about that. People are going to those areas because they live by those areas mostly. So you'll have a lot of people re-traumatized by this experience, because this is a neighborhood where people will go to the mall or they go to the Walmart. Those are all neighborhood gathering spots. And I remember growing up a little farther east from Cielo Vista Mall, but we always just called it the mall, because we knew exactly which mall we were talking about. Right. And so it was just that place where people go. So it's so sad to hear that this woman in particular, but so many other people experience this, of having that same experience, the same horrific experience that no one should have to have in a public gathering spot.
And we do know, we've also seen video of the Walmart being evacuated shortly after the incident at Cielo Vista Mall as a precaution. And, the parallels were just mind-boggling.
Right. We saw a TxDOT traffic camera earlier as our coverage began. It was around 5:20 this evening. And the shot that we had was you could see the Walmart in the distance, and chilling enough, you could see the Candela in the foreground, but you could just see the police vehicles, the law enforcement vehicles, streaming into that property through Sunmount. That same road that they took to get to the Walmart, they were taking to get to Cielo Vista Mall, because you could get through, you can take Sunmount to get either to the Walmart or to Cielo Vista Mall, and they were headed that direction, because that's, of course, the easiest access to the food court, which is where we understand the shooting occurred, on the second floor of Cielo Vista Mall this evening. Again, we're nearing the bottom of the hour. We understand from El Paso Police that we will get an update at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock. And of course, we will be on the air to bring that information to you live. So we have our crew standing by, waiting for that information to come. And we also have crews at the mall And we also have a crew getting information from people who are barely leaving Cielo Vista Mall more than 3 hours after this happened.
And they are all going to Burgess High School, where they're being reunited with family members. And hopefully we'll have the opportunity to speak with some of those people who were inside of the mall and bring you those stories on ABC 7 at 10. Again, a reminder that we have confirmed that 4 people were shot at Cielo Vista Mall sometime shortly after 5 o'clock this afternoon. One of them has died. 3 others are at the hospital. 2 of them, as we have learned, are at University Medical Center. The 3rd is at Del Sol Medical Center. The 2 who are at UMC in critical condition, and the person who is at Del Sol Medical Center, we don't have a condition listed as of yet, but we do know that's where the 3 people who survived this shooting are now.
And we understand that one person was taken into custody. At last update that we got about 2 hours ago from El Paso Police, they were searching for a possible second shooter. We don't have any ages on any of the people who were shot or who died or who have been arrested. We don't know a motive behind this. We are working to get all of that information. We asked El Paso Police, but they could not relay that information to us. It was early in their investigation. So we're hoping to get more concrete information for you. At the top of the hour, we will break back into programming at 9 o'clock with an update from El Paso Police. But thank you for watching our special coverage of this breaking news, the shooting at Cielo Vista Mall.
You're riding, and you are my horse. Woo!